back in 2019. The Barnstormers clad in white tonight. They hit the field, and we're going to take a break. We'll be back with Atlantic League Baseball in just a moment here on Blue Ridge 11. Off the Buffalo, as they say, joining the Toronto Blue Jays AAA affiliate.
Is that a saying?
It is.
Shuffling off to Buffalo.
It's an old. It's an old one.
I mean, I like old sayings. I like to use old sayings. Shuffling off to Buffalo. Where did it come from?
Shuffle off to Buffalo. I don't know.
I don't
know the origin.
I'm gonna use it. I'm probably gonna use it wrong in a scenario, but shuffling off to Buffalo. I like that. Do you think of when we get started? Do you just like your openings? Are they just off the cuff, or do you kind of plan it out?
I have a rough.
I mean, I guess you gotta
just a rough.
You're like Larry David. You're gonna give an outline here,
yeah.
and then you're gonna go for it.
Yep.
Fraught with that was a good one. I thought it was kind of. I don't know if you script all those. So, I mean, how many openings have you had to go through in your lifetime? Though, I mean,
a lot. Yeah, a lot. I just have a framework. It's how I taught math too. I just had a rough idea of how I wanted to do things. Eric Manoah starting off the night with a called strike. It is 0-1. Manoah, right-hander, 1-1 on the year with a 5.26 ERA.
There's a guy who wore shirt 34. Do you remember who that was?
Ground ball down the line at third, yanked foul, and very quickly it is a 2-strike count on the second baseman Tyler Ladendorf. In that very first meeting between the Barnstormers and the High Point Rockers, the 7-1 Rockers win in our 2019 opener. Ladendorf homered. He has been in and out of High Point since the beginning. 0-2 pitch, breaking ball, that's grounded left side, and Lair went to scoop it up, and the ball got away from him. All series long against the Kentucky Wildtail Genomes against York, Lair makes that play. There's something about playing High Point, you just don't know. And it'll be an error charged to Trace.
And that's the thing, it stinks. Off the end of the bat, you can see it kind of had a little bit of a different spin, and I think he's reacting to that ball as if it's hit harder. So he goes over and then gets there, almost oversteps it a little bit. So that it's not necessarily like the ball played him, but the swing and the way the ball came off the bat kind of affected the way he went to go to field that.
Here is Ben Aklinski, who was a star for the Lexington Legends and their championship team last year. And he gets hit by Manoah, and runners are at first and second with nobody out.
That's one of those ones that it falls out the back of the hand, and you always hate to. I mean, it's not like you ever like to hit somebody. Sometimes you want to pitch inside, but it was a breaking ball, and it just kind of snuck away. But not the guy you want to get two guys on with nobody out.
Got him in the back, and now Logan Morrison steps to the plate. That is the 63rd batter hit by the Barnstormers this season, playing in game number 73. Tough beginning for Manoah, the error, and now the hit batter. Logan Morrison stands at the plate, 290 hitter. He was just reactivated today, as was Aklinski. They'd both been on the DL. Eric Manoah, right-hander from Homestead, Florida, delivers, and it's a little bit low.
He and I, because Logan and I were in the Marlin system together. He taught me how to play cribbage. We would sit there and play cribbage in the back when we were on rehab. I was for my arm, and I don't know what he was down there for, but he taught me how to play cribbage and a bunch of other card games.
I have not played cribbage in years. I've actually forgotten how.
I taught my brother how to play it.
I know 15 and 31 pairs and whatnot.
You're throwing stuff at me here. I'll have to get that for you.
And the pegs.
Yeah.
Morrison with a swing, and it is a foul ball, fortunately.
Yeah, I was going to say, nobody really moved. It's either going to be way out of here or way foul. So from our angle, we couldn't really tell right away. I will tell you the one thing that, when you watch, he does not take. You watch practice swings. If you if we go back and look at his practice swings, he does not take swings off. I mean, when he swings, he swings.
The ball stayed in the seating bowl.
Yeah, I thought it
was lined out down to the last section or two of the seats down the right field side. Morrison bats 1-1, and this one is hit high in the air on the left side.
And that's going to stay in.
Trace Lair back into foul territory. He will handle it.
That's
that is a big first out.
Absolutely.
Morrison fouls out. That will bring on Xander Wheel, the right fielder. 277, 17 home runs, 56 runs batted in. He had a couple of home runs, including an inside the park home run.
Always fun.
Against the Barnstormers in North Carolina. He had a ball that hit the base of the right field wall over our right fielder's head at the time. That was Mark Zagunis. And the ball hit the base of the wall. Anywhere else it's going to hit and die where it hit. It bounced probably 50 feet back the other way.
Oh, man.
Melvin Mercedes ended up having to chase it down. Zagunis didn't know where the ball had gone. He was expecting to be able to play it off the base of the fence. And now a balk is charged to Manoah. That's not the first. That is actually the third. So that takes away the double play. Wheel will bat with runners at second and third, and just one out in the inning.
I'll tell you, that was the one thing I did avoid in my career. I only had two, and they were both in this league. They were in this league, and I did talk my way out of one of them. It wasn't a balk, and I correctly talked my way out of it.
Manoah will go to work on Wheel and get his breaking ball across for a strike. It is 0-1. Eric Manoah coming off a terrific start.
That's nice to see, too, because that first breaking ball that he hit Aklinski in the back, and then to be able to go back to that, it seems like it's going to be a pitch that he's definitely going to need tonight.
The last time out, Eric gave up just 2 hits in 6 innings to York. Swinging a brush foul, it's 0-2.
Because you're not talking about a guy who is like 75% of the bullpen that's 98 and above, but you could still pitch at 89, 92, which I've seen, and it's not everybody's going to be able to throw that amount of miles per hour. So you have to understand using those secondary pitches and being able to mix and go in. It's not necessarily always about velocity. You have to be able to mix and match, change speeds, go in and out, up and down.
Here's the 0-2, and that is popped up foul by Wheel. A continuing count, no balls and 2 strikes. Manoah has been in 4 major league organizations. His mound opponent tonight, Ivan Pinheiro, has been in 5. They're very well traveled. Manoah still not all that old. He's come here out of the national system, and Eric has done well. Just 26 years of age from Homestead, Florida. Nothing in 2. The right-hander into the motion. His pitch smashed toward left and a base hit for Wheel. This will score 1. Aklinski is coming. He will score also. Wheel with a 2-run single, a guy the Barnstormers simply have not been able to get out. And very early on, High Point leading by a score of 2-0. And when you know it, the Barnstormers have played such terrific baseball here over the past couple of weeks. They've won 9 out of their last 11 games. But somehow, whenever High Point either comes to town or even worse, when the Barnstormers go down to Truist Point, nothing goes right for the ball club. Blown late inning leads down there time after time.
Sometimes you just have those teams throughout the year that you'll play well against everybody else, and you just run into them, and half the time it's just a mental block. Like, you go in there kind of knowing, man, we're down. You kind of start yourself down 2 runs, which, you know, now you're actually down 2 runs.
Jerry Downs stands in. Former AA player in the, I believe, Boston system. Ground ball pulled foul toward the first base dugout. 2 strikes. The count on Downs.
That last base hit, was that on a 2-strike count too? I believe it was, wasn't it? Yeah. And it's just the breaking ball he threw was a good breaking ball. It's just it's not the 0-2 one that I know he wanted to throw. That's one that's got to be down, and you've got to try to let that aggressiveness overtake, or, you know, kind of play the aggressiveness of the hitter. But he left that one in the zone, something that he could swing at and hit, and got good wood on it. So
Downs.
That's the one. That's the one you needed before.
Yep.
Yeah.
Ball 1, 2 strikes. You eliminate the mistakes this inning. Even let's discount the HBP. Those happen, but you eliminate the error and the balk, and it's first and second, 2 outs, and nothing on the board.
You did that pretty quick. I'm sitting there thinking, okay, you take that? Yeah, okay. Look at that.
1-2 on Downs. Manoah from the set. He'll deal. It's grounded to first.
Get the out.
Juggled for a second by Cordero, but he'll step to the bag and end the inning. It's 2 runs, though. 1 hit,
2
1
outs.
error.
That
is the second.
Yeah, you were ahead of yourself.
I was ahead of myself
thinking about taking the
error off the board. That is just the second out. And Michael Martinez, the third baseman, will step in. And Cordero might have been thinking about the runner going to second, and
he was
lost the grip initially, but not too much harm done there.
No, because even from that angle, if you go back and we looked at that angle again, you can see he's going to have to get far in to the base path. I mean, because you have the ability to kind of to run in as a base runner. But umpires are very rarely going to call obstruction and getting out into that. But it's a tough throw to make, especially for a right-hander coming off of there. You have to get far enough into the baseline to make that throw. And you're probably not going to come back and get the out at first. So just even getting an out there is a big thing.
Martinez will take a breaking ball for a strike as Manoah gets ahead 0-1. So I went to wrap up the inning as far as earned runs are concerned. The inning is over. And the run scored by Aklinski will be earned. That is it. Martinez, switch hitter, batting from the left side. And he stings that foul down to the Lancaster bullpen. Couple of strikes to Michael. He'll turn 40 right after the season comes to an end.
That's impressive. I mean, if you're doing anything athletically at 40, that's pretty good.
A lot of the young players coming out of the Dominican Republic are, they sign when they're 16, 17, 18 years old. Michael
imagine?
didn't. Michael played basketball.
Wow.
He's got a tremendous vertical leap. Not sure it's still there at close to 40.
Oh.
Inside low, bouncing away from Peroni, and on to third goes Wheel.
So this is, you can kind of see here, like you get to 2 strikes, and then he has a little bit of trouble locating the pitches that he wants to throw. And my guess is, I don't know what. So I don't know every pitch that he throws, but it looks like he's trying to bury a little two-seam there, or I don't know if he has a splitter or something. But you wouldn't think you're just trying to, especially the way that he turned on that inside fastball before.
1-2 pitch.
That's a good
Swung
change.
on and missed. Off speed, and Martinez goes down. That will end the inning. And as I said before, 2 runs on a hit with 1 error and 1 man left. The Barnstormers will get their shot at Ivan Pinero. It's 2-0 High Point. Take a look at the Barnstormers starting lineup, and that's about what you have right now. The only available player off the bench is Devon Torrance. Ross, when he wasn't out running the kids' camp here at Clipper Magazine Stadium this morning, was on the phones. He's trying to find an outfielder and a catcher to fill in fairly big holes.
I say there. I was taking a drink. I lost my microphone. Can you sign anybody from the kids' camp? Is that? Did they lose eligibility then? Is that?
I think they would lose eligibility at that point.
Boy, no one-day contract exemption.
There you look at the defense with Pinero on the hill. They've had to replace their entire starting rotation pretty much in High Point. The Barnstormers know about that. It happened last year. Klinsky in left, Wheel in right. Now, Klinsky is more of an outfielder now, although he played a lot of infield for the Legends last year. Wheel, we saw him at third base on that opening road trip to North Carolina. The Barnstormers went 1-6. They were outscored 59-20 on that opening road trip. Since then, this is a statistically dominant club with a run differential of plus 79, but a record only 1 game over 500.
Plus 79 overall?
Yeah.
Even when you're talking about...
since that first road
I was going to say, even like, wow. Huh.
And the Barnstormers needing to make up 2 runs against Pinero. They have not faced him before. He has been with the Nationals, Cubs, Marlins, Diamondbacks, and Angels. 30 years of age from Bajos de Ayina in the Dominican Republic's 6'1", 220. And he is outside to Sean Dunston Jr., ball 1, no strikes.
We had talked about prior to, I mean, obviously when you lose your catcher, you got to try to make that guy up. But it's not like an affiliated club where you can just pull somebody up and stopgap and fill that hole.
Well, organizations
quickly.
always have those organizational catchers that
absolutely. That'll
keep their bags packed. Yeah. 2-0.
It's a little easier to do with a pitcher because you've got pitchers on the staff, but you don't. And like you said, they had to replace their whole starting rotation. But guys, there's almost always a pitcher out there. Catchers are not necessarily few and far between, but fewer and further between.
To Dunston, here's the 2-1. He'll work the count to 3 balls and a strike. Pinero's walked 7, struck out 22 in 21 innings over 4 starts since coming to the Rockers. Dunston bats 3-1 and fouls that at the plate. Another full count for Dunston, leading off a game. Wind's blowing out.
Rockers. I mean, it's North Carolina furniture. That's what I thought.
It's the furniture capital of the world.
That's what I thought.
The High Point, Thomasville area.
Yeah. Bought a recliner from. I still have it. Well made. That's when I was playing in Greensboro, and they had a furniture sponsor, and I went there and got myself a rocking chair.
pay off. Dunston smashes it up the middle, base hit center field. The Barnstormers come back out swinging. Sean Dunston Jr. has been a remarkable pickup for the Barnstormers. We've talked about that often. He had a 5-hit game against the Wild Health Genomes back on Friday night in an 18-5 win. The Barnstormers scored 33 runs on 42 hits in that series. And here is maybe the hottest hitter of them all, Melvin Mercedes.
The little tagline under their jersey, now that I see it, it says Furniture City.
First pitch strike. It is 0-1. The city, when you go there, furniture showrooms dot the community.
Yeah, it's like car dealerships anywhere else.
Dunston out to a lead. He's stolen 17. He'll stay put. Little chip shot. That's going to get down in left center. And Mercedes now has hit safely in 10 in a row. The Barnstormers have their own runners at first and second with nobody out, and their own slugging lefty coming in, and Kelly Dugan. Half swing by Mercedes, but right now for Mel, everything's working for him right now.
Credit is a whole hit. Those are the ones that, as a pitcher, you're like, come on, man. That's what's happening.
15 out of his last 33. Here's Dugan. He hasn't homered in 10 days now, so one would think he's due. Swinging a foul at the plate. No balls and a strike. We've talked about how his timing just got slightly off.
Yeah, and it's all it takes is just that little bit of disruption in timing. It could happen from a pitcher. It could happen because of something that you're doing in the swing. You get a little hitch in the swing. You get tired. It is such a game of small details that when one of them go wrong, it's a hard fix sometimes.
0-1, line toward left center field. That'll work. It's in for a base hit. Dunston will score. Mercedes goes to third. Slight bobble in left by Aklinski, but
he was a little shy about going to second from the other day.
Dugan, while in an extra base hit drought, is still collecting RBI singles. He goes the other way here, and that's a great start to getting hot again. A line drive into left. It was actually the center fielder Gonzalez that was guilty of that slight juggle. Dunston scoring easily, 3 straight hits to start off the bottom of the first for the Barnstormers. They're halfway back. And here is another guy who's been very productive lately, Andretti Cordero. Lancaster starting the night with 4 guys in the lineup hitting better than 300. Fouled away. It is 0-1 on Andretti, and at the moment they're all pretty hot. Cordero is 9 out of 22 in a 5-game streak, but for him it goes all the way back to the middle of May. He is 72 out of 212, hitting 340. Fouls a breaking ball away. It's 0-2, and that's without any ridiculous hot streaks. He just keeps plugging away. A little worried about the end of the week, though, because the only 2 times all year he's gone back-to-back games without a hit have been the 14th and 15th of the month, both May and June.
Don't speak it into existence here.
Here's the 0-2. Cordero with the take. Ball 1 low. Good stop by Mulcahy.
So you said they activated somebody as a backup catcher.
Robert Rosado, he is the emergency catcher. He's been the team's bullpen catcher now for the last couple of years. He himself is a fascinating story. The set and a Cordero. This is lifted out to right. Will it be deep enough? Wheel sets up to make the catch. Mercedes is coming. The throw will go to second, and the Barnstormers have tied the game right away. 61st run batted in for Cordero. He's able to get the job done, get the second run home, and now Anderson Felice steps in with Dugan the lone base runner.
We talked about the other day too, that's kind of the definition of a team at bat there. You get down 0-2, you take the breaking ball in the dirt, and then you realize, like, you know what, I'm not going to be able to drive this pitch, but it's going to be a strike, so I'm going to serve it up into the outfield, deep enough for my guy at third who's got some wheels on him. I give myself up, and now, I mean, the best thing is, as a hitter, you get an RBI and you don't get anything negated against your average.
to Felice. Off the outside part of the plate, ball one. P.J. McConville, our home plate umpire tonight. He had the plate Friday night with the Barnstormers hosting the Genomes. Same crew has been here for that series and this one. He's working with Derek Moshe and Nate Caldwell. Now 2-0 on Felice as the Barnstormers try to reload here in this first inning.
I feel like Felice has been doing it for a long time too.
Well, in between when he was your teammate here 7 years ago and now, he's been in the Pirates and Orioles organizations at least through 19. And then the pandemic hit and the whole world went haywire. And that includes the baseball world.
Yeah.
2-1 on the DH. Breaking ball inside and low. They can't afford to lose track of Dugan either. He's 7 for 8 stealing bases.
Really? You always like those guys. The guys who just kind of, like, I always think of Yadier Molina. He just kind of is over there, and then the next thing you know, he just walks his way into second. And those guys are the ones who normally make it without a throw.
3-1. Smacked foul. 3 balls, 2 strikes with 1 out, 1 on. 2-2 already. Bottom of the first inning.
That's a great answer. We talked about the other day too that almost the inability to play from behind. Now you've already done it. You're not playing from behind anymore. You're here. You're back even. Plus you put what number of pitches in his arm already?
I have 19.
19, and he got 1 out.
Here's a payoff.
There you go.
And it's a walk. Ball 4 is low. And Trayvon Robinson, who also is scalding, will step in. Robinson 7 out of 11 against the Genomes in the 3-game series over the weekend with a double, a home run, and 6 runs batted in. Beyond that, he's 22 out of his last 51 with some extra base hits and 13 ribbies.
Wow.
First and second with 1 out.
Was that 446? Close? You know that? You can do that in your head?
Yeah, 431.
Really? Oh man, I went back. I gave him points. I went 22 for 49.
Yeah, 20.
I gave him some points there. Yeah. That's
And
right. You're the math teacher.
That would be 449.
Oh boy.
Yeah. The 22 out of 50 is 440.
That's where I started from,
do,
and then I gave him the freebie there. Oh man.
150 first. 150 first of 440 is the difference. So it's
oh boy.
Yeah.
Oh, I shouldn't have said anything.
Yeah, don't trigger this. Don't trigger this.
Man, I thought I was gonna get close, and then here I am.
Which is about 8.6 points away from 440. Yeah, so 431.
Okay.
You need to go see Schumann. He'll fill you in.
Oh yeah.
1 ball, 1 strike. Still only 1 out. Robinson fouls another one off. But I can't keep track of the number of outs in an inning, apparently.
Yeah, when you get a 1, 2, and 3. But no, 42 out of 51, you're fine. When you get all those things. I always found that interesting, though. I thought that was like a fun way to do math as a kid, just trying to figure out batting averages and like little things like that. Just trying to figure out, okay, well, if it's 42 out of 51, how do I figure that out? Or what can I at least get close to that gives me that kind of estimating ability?
It's a great learning tool.
Ah, it is, honestly.
1-2. Chopped foul. Robinson's still there. Anthony Peroni waits on deck.
I'll tell you what, Dave, I picked the wrong time to get this walking taco. I brought it in, thought maybe, hey, we'll have a couple quick innings, maybe some in between. I got a sitting taco, and it's cold now.
I was just going to use the same line. It's a sitting taco.
Yes, all right, I beat you to it.
You got me.
Yeah. But I'll tell you, it's good. I'm waiting. I'm hoping like maybe a mound visit or a home run.
Instead of swing and a miss, Robinson goes down. Peroni will try to get the Barnstormers the first inning lead. He's got Dugan and Felice on ahead of him. And it has been a pretty long first inning.
But you'll take that on our side, obviously, if you're sitting there as the home team and you can put I'm looking at 25 pitches now.
It was
in an arm.
It was 19 for
I
Manoah
was looking over here.
in the top of the inning, and 25 for Pinero so far. Skied out of play by Peroni.
I mean, you got to think. The general rule of thumb is like near 100 pitches is that's when you're in or you're out. And that, if you could put 30 in one inning, I mean, if you could do 20 the next, you're halfway there. If you can get a guy out in the fourth, then you go through. We talked about that other rule too. If you get the DH out before the fifth, or the pitcher out before the fifth, they lose the DH.
Swung on and missed. It's 0-2. If that happens to the Barnstormers, you'll see pitchers batting. Peroni has not played in a week. He came out midway through the first game of the doubleheader at York last Tuesday night after a double.
What a situation to be in. You got to put the catcher back into action because he's the only one you got, and he's not 100%.
He told me today he can catch just fine. Legging out hits could be a little bit difficult.
And I'm assuming that's probably where Ross said, then don't leg out hits. Yeah. If you there's a certain time where you tell those guys back it off.
You can move pitcher to an outfield position if you have to, or an infield or to the outfield.
But that's one of those you can. It's a glaring deficiency when you have a guy who has not caught in a game like this. And there goes Dugan there. He reads that ball well.
Took third on a pitch in the dirt. That gives the Barnstormers runners at first and third, and a 2-2 count on Anthony Peroni. And there you might be hoping for the bad throw.
And it's not the worst thing that Feliz didn't follow up, because he didn't know, and that's not something that you can read right away if he's going to go. Because
now
that's
he does.
What I was
2-2 pitch is lifted foul and out of play.
So that's what I was getting at. It's kind of nice because if he can go and he's got some speed, and you throw down there and you've got a decent base runner on third base that can read the throw through, then you have the ability to sneak a run there too. So the only detriment to it is if you get a ground ball up the middle and he doesn't go, it's a free toss to second base. But I don't know if he'll go now. But
Peroni takes low, ball 3, and now he's absolutely going.
Yeah.
No mysteries any longer. 3-2, 2 outs, runners at the corners. Peroni has been swinging the bat a little bit better as of late.
So we're at 29 now, or 30, right? He's got to be at
30.
Yeah.
3-2 is outside. That loads them for Jake Hoover.
You got to have a mound visit here.
5 men have reached base for the Barnstormers in this first inning. They've tied it, and now Hoover will look to put the Barnstormers into the lead. And here comes Frank.
Hey, thanks, Frank. I'm going to flip up my mic here, Dave, so you don't hear me crunching.
Did you get the Tostitos version?
I did, and now they've been in here so long, they're not really.
Beef or chicken?
I went with chicken. I saw there was another option. It was like a
plant-based chorizo.
Yeah, have you had that?
I have not had it, but it is available.
I mean, I don't really think you're going to hear me crunching. I left this in here too long. There's no crunch left.
Former Cy Young winner and the World Series champion, Frank Viola, out to pay a visit.
Frank, that was not long enough.
Pinero.
I didn't even get a bite. He went out there and said 8 words. Now I got to wait. Thanks, Frank. Oh, boy.
Batter will be Hoover as you look at Ross Peoples talking things over with Kelly Dugan. He is the lead runner at third. He has an RBI single in this inning. Andretti Cordero with a sac fly. You know, this team has a very legitimate shot at having 200-plus RBI guys.
Wow.
The Barnstormers have only had one in history, and that was Aaron Herr many, many years ago.
Yeah.
To Hoover, foul ball back.
And I guess it's kind of like when you really think about it, it's if you're getting close to that, somebody's probably got their eyes on you, or if you're even like on pace to do something like that, somebody's probably going to pick you up. So it's a weird dynamic. You know, not getting one is probably good for the ball club or good for the person.
Here's the 0-1. Hoove takes inside on the 34th offering from Ivan Pinero. Bases loaded. 8th man to bat here in the first inning. We are tied at 2.
Over under on what inning I finished this walking taco. What do you think?
That might be the 7th.
I'm going to go 5th. You don't know how fast I eat.
Hoover with a pop-up. Tosses the bat away, not happy with himself on that. The first baseman, Morrison, will handle it. The Barnstormers leave the bases loaded here in the first inning. But they do score 2 to tie on 3 hits. 3 are left. And at the end of 1, we're knotted at 2. Barnstormers fans, multi-generational, enjoying the night at Clipper Magazine Stadium. This is Tuesday, so it is Silver Stormers night. Night for those of us who happen to be 55 and over to enjoy a ball game. And once I move on out of here, and that time is closer than when I started, I would love to go somewhere where a minor league team has a Silver Stormers promotion.
I think everybody
of some
should.
sort. Yeah.
Yeah, why not?
55 and over.
Yeah.
As I say in the commercial we play on our YouTube only broadcasts, it's you over 55, you get 10 tickets, not 1. I know my wife would too. We would take a team up on that. I don't know that it's going to be this one. We have plans ultimately to settle it down in the southeast somewhere.
Yeah?
Because we don't like winter, unfortunately.
Well, I actually do. However, my thoughts on winter, if it's going to be cold, it might as well snow.
That's always been my thought too.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't like the.
I like to shovel snow. I just don't like. I don't like being cold.
Yeah, I don't mind being cold, but if it's going to be cold, just snow. Might as well just get it all, let's just. So I think, where's it snow a lot?
Buffalo.
Yeah, Buffalo.
We can shuffle off the Buffalo.
Hey, look at that. You got it in there. Nice.
That was good. It's like we planned that. We didn't.
We did
it's
not,
like
but
we
that
did.
was good. Oh, man.
And we can shovel off the Buffalo, too.
Wow.
1 ball.
Now you're doing it.
1-0 to Giovanni Alfonso. Manoah delivers a strike, and it's 1-1.
I didn't get there first on that one. Shovel off to Buffalo.
Alfonso, the nephew of the Staten Island manager, Edgardo Alfonso. Swing and a miss, 1-2. But he told me earlier this year, and my uncle and I are really close, but I want to finish what we started in High Point. And he's been there since the beginning.
Oh, nice. You know what? For me as a pitcher, and again, I'm love player safety. I'm fine with it, but it makes it tough to kind of pitch when you got guys who can just load up. And I'm not saying he necessarily does it with a ton of different protective gear, but he's got the thing on his hand. And again, I get it.
He's had a hand injury this year, so it may have something to do with that.
Oh, absolutely. So you got the hand, you got the elbow, you got the foot. There's really he's not worried about getting hit anywhere. So
2-2 pitch, line drive, and Hoover can't bring it down. Alfonso has always, even when he was with the Ducks, he's had the Barnstormers number. Leadoff base hit here in the second, and Jay Gonzalez, the center fielder, will step in.
It's tough because you don't have that advantage of being able to drive the ball inside and have a guy be backed off the plate. And I've seen some that are I don't want to say worse, but way more protected than that, with things all halfway up the leg, and you got the big arm guard, and again, I get it. You know, he if you have the hand injuries, things like that, and he's got one on too, though. So I don't know if he had a hand injury or not, but there's no fear of getting hit inside, because you're going to get hit on the elbow, and if you get hit on the hand, again, I don't want to hit anybody on the hand, and I don't want anybody to get hit on the hand. But it takes kind of that fear away of a hitter of the inside pitch.
Our pitching coach, Mark Johnson, and I talked about one of his teammates in the Yankee system with the Norwich Navigators, Nick Johnson. And Johnson, when he was in Double-A, got hit 50-some-odd times in a year. He had his elbow guard on, and the elbow was, my belief always was, in the strike zone. But he never got called on it.
Yeah.
And he would take shots off that elbow guard all the time.
Yeah, and it doesn't hurt him. And if he can throw his elbow into the zone, there's, you know, I would. I'm on base. I could throw the elbow into the zone, and I have no recourse. It's not going to hurt. It's going to go as a double down in the gap.
2 balls, 1 strike to Gonzalez. He drags a bunt toward first. Dugan will get to it and miss the tag. Or not Dugan, but Cordero rather, and Cordero is pleading with Derek Moshe. That's going to be a bunt single.
I don't know if that's one where you can appeal to home to see if he sees that. I mean, you normally don't plead that much if it was like, and you didn't get him, you just kind of get upset.
Cordero gets there, tries to swing the tag on.
I don't know.
It looked like he swiped and missed, but we can't tell
from
for
this
sure.
side too. Yeah, I don't. I mean,
Hey,
he could or couldn't. You don't.
There's no angle that gives us conclusive evidence. He swung.
I don't know. He might have got that little hand guard in the back. That counts, right?
I guess it counts.
But there's nothing you can do now. You can't really.
Ross Peoples is out there to ask. And by the way, that is Nate Caldwell at first and not Derek Moshe. I got bad information again on this crew. They keep switching spots on me.
Oh, man. That's a good bunt. He took it with him. You want to get the first baseman involved, because if you can get it past the pitcher, you get the first baseman involved, and then he's got to get the ball. The first baseman is not, the pitcher's not going to beat them back. This is the 3rd inning in a row we've had the first 2 guys on, huh?
Yep. This is Dakota Mulcahy, who drops it down, and there's the throw from Lair. Sacrifice 5-3.
A legitimate he did not go about that as a base hit. He said, here, there you go.
Mulcahy is a catcher from southern New Hampshire. That's where he had last played. Tough to come up with catchers.
Yeah.
Right now, the Barnstormers know 2nd and 3rd, 1 out. And Tyler Ladendorf will step in. Ladendorf reached on an error and scored back in the 1st inning.
That's if we get a chance at some point later in the game and somebody tells me that we're going to watch it, that's the way you bunt. I would love to show that again and just have kids watching. Like, he sunk down into the zone. That, to me, if we could do that again at some point later in the game, let me know.
Ladendorf takes a ball outside. It's 1-0. So a base hit on a solid liner clearing Hoover, and then the bunt single by Jay Gonzalez.
A little bit of sun coming in here.
All of a sudden, it has gotten very bright and rather toasty here in broadcast land. Ladendorf swings away, hits a pop-up right side. Dugan coming in. Mercedes going back. Don't collide. Mercedes comes out of there with it and fires a strike toward home. Now a throw behind the runner at third. And he is doubled off. How about that? 4-2-5. And a double play getting Manoah and the Barnstormers out of the inning. They'll communicate now. Almost an accident, and it turned into a boon for the Barnstormers. Mercedes coming out of there, pegging home. Too many liberties by Alfonso, and he is out going back into third. 2-2 as we head to the bottom half of the second inning, and we'll take another look at the play that got the Barnstormers out of the top of the second. And this probably was a bad decision initially that ended up paying off for the Barnstormers. If Dugan makes the catch, I don't think Alfonso is going to be tempted to come that far off the bag. But they were thinking about turning him loose with the second baseman heading back away from the throw.
Yeah, so you're exactly right. When you see that kind of, not miscommunication, just lack of communication, it kind of makes you think, all right, well, maybe we got a shot, because if they bump into each other and somebody falls down or somebody doesn't have their feet under you, you always want that guy to be ready to go. So he had no plans of really, like, here we go, it was that hard start off, and then, like, all right, you saw him shut it down, but after that hard start, and he realized, like, I can't go anywhere, he just was off too far. And it's kind of nice Dugan's so big, because Mercedes bounced off him and was able to throw.
Trace Lair with a chopper foul and off the fingertips of Troy Steffi in the coaching box. 0-2 to Trace. He starts the night at 2:05. He's hit his second homer of the year on this homestand. Jake Hoover has done the same.
If you're keeping score at home, I got 2 more bites of the taco in. I don't know if there's a stat sheet in there for the book. I don't see you have. I don't see that you have that started.
I can create a new column.
Okay, please do.
1-2. Out to left field, fading over toward the line. Aklinski, he's got it. 1 out to start the bottom of the second, and now the lineup rolls over to the top of the order. Sean Dunston Jr. He singled to lead off the game for the Barnstormers. He has gotten hot again, 13 out of his last 29. He went 0 for 9 in the first 2 games at York, and we are starting to get a little bit concerned. But here's a guy who's jumped in here, batted over 300, and scored beaucoup runs for this team. He's been a great leadoff hitter. Ball 1 low, 1-0. Good base stealer. And he got a double play started that held a lead for the Barnstormers earlier on this homestand against York. Handled a J.C. Encarnacion fly ball, banging into the fence out in center. Swing and a miss against Pinero here. It's ball and 2 strikes with 1 out. And then Carlos Franco was around third when the ball was caught. Quick throw into Mercedes, double play, game over. Here's a 1-2. Dunston takes low. 2 balls and 2 strikes.
I feel like he's your prototypical old school leadoff hitter who will force you to throw pitches, force you to mix your pitches, not necessarily go out of the zone early. You might, late in the at bat, you might be forced to go out of the zone, but
ground ball right side through. He's 2 for 2. Same guy who went 5 for 6 the other night. The first 3 hits, 1 to each field, and now has a base hit to center and 1 to right.
What you can see with that too is the 1-1 pitch. No, the 1-0 pitch. 1-0 pitch was a changeup down the middle, and he took it. The 1-1 pitch was a changeup down the middle, and he swung at it and just barely missed it, but he's seen it now. So and he wasn't far off, but he's the guy that kind of forces you to throw all of those pitches so that the guys behind him can see that. They're seeing every pitch that's coming in. It's helping them diagnose things. It's helping him later in the game. It's helping him to get to when you get to that 5 for 6, you're obviously, because you see a lot of pitches from guys earlier, and now it affects you in the bullpen because you're sitting there like, well, what did you throw him? I threw him everything. I threw him the kitchen sink.
He takes off. Mercedes swings away and hits a high pop fly out to left. That will be caught by Aklinski. Dunston picking it up with enough time for him to get back to first, and it leaves the inning to Dugan. Hit and run. The ball ideally is put on the ground there, not in the air. The trajectory was right. He hit a ground ball at that same angle. The Barnstormers have runners at first and third. Dugan single homer run back in the first inning. He has 69 runs batted in, and Cordero 61. They're both in the top 5 in the league.
If you noticed, you saw he slid into second. My guess is just from being around and knowing what you teach middle infielders, what you saw, you didn't really see any kind of deke from the shortstop, but I bet there was a verbal from the second baseman, flip, 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 so that he's thinking, oh, it's a ground ball, I got to get down.
Yep.
So he's sliding into second, which now, if that ball's a little lower, he slides into second, you catch that ball, throw him out at first. But that little verbal, those things that you don't necessarily hear as a fan, and you just see a guy sliding into second on a fly ball, and you're like, what on earth are you doing?
There's
but
a lot
all
of
those little things.
A lot of deception can happen out on the field.
Oh, yeah.
Your own teammates are yelling 3, the other team's yelling 2.
And you're like, 5? I don't know, what are we doing here?
To Dugan 0-1, and he hits the ball in the air on the left side. So did virtually everybody that inning. 2 shallow flies to left, 1 pop up to short. The Barnstormers leave 1, and we're still tied at 2 through 2. It is Silver Stormers night. It has been a wonderful program here this season. You see all the fine folks in their Silver Stormers t-shirts decked out in red, enjoying Barnstormers baseball, a night out. Beautiful weather it's turned out to be. The humidity has started to go down. When the storms first passed through, it was rather steamy here, but that is largely dissipating now. Most of the rain went south of us. It hit Maryland and Virginia pretty badly.
Yeah, I had a little bit in Lidditz, but it wasn't it was just a little shower. It was nice for the plants. Saved me from going out and watering.
Well, I guarantee my tomato plants at home didn't just get a sprinkle. They got doused because Northern Virginia got hit really hard this evening. I was tracking it. The last thing I knew, our satellite TV was out at home.
Oh, boy. Benefit of not having any kind of cable. Nothing goes out.
Banner is Aklinski. He was hit by a pitch, took second on a balk, and eventually scored in the opening inning. First pitch strike.
What kind of tomatoes you growing?
You know, I don't even know.
Are you growing tomatoes, or are you just saying stuff now? You got tomatoes growing?
We have tomato plants, but my wife got the plants from a friend of hers.
Okay.
And the tomatoes are just starting to pop.
There you go. So you're not sure, but they're going to be red tomatoes.
They're not cherry tomatoes. They're probably beefsteak or something. But
yeah, there's a lot of varieties now. We got tomatoes at home. I like cherry tomatoes, too. What's the difference between a cherry tomato and a grape tomato? Just the shape?
I think it's the shape. Okay. About the same size.
Yeah.
1-1, hit in the air, right field toward the corner, and fading foul and out of play. Aklinski will bat at 1-2. Morrison and Wheel will follow. Cherry tomatoes and grape tomatoes can be good all year round, but the big tomatoes that you would use to slice on a sandwich or something, those to me have to be homegrown. The ones you buy in the store are very either pithy or they just don't taste right. 1-2.
You know what? I don't think I guess in the winter I
And again, driven to right field toward the corner. And this time it is a fair ball. Dugan will chase it down. Klinsky is going to slide into second. He will beat the throw.
He's a lot quicker than I thought. I thought the way that he hit that with the velocity off the bat and then the way that it popped up, it didn't check up. It came off pretty well, but he got out of the box pretty quick.
Klinsky has been basically a superstar in this league last year and this season. And here's a guy who got to single A with the Phillies, and that is it.
That's it?
He hit .290 with 28 homers and 105 runs batted in for Lexington last year.
Wow.
Came over to High Point this year. That's his 21st double, his 34th extra base hit.
Jeez.
Logan Morrison stands in. He fouled out his first trip. And high, Peroni gets enough of it. Klinsky can't think about going to third. Morrison had a 2-homer game against the Barnstormers in High Point early last year. Lancaster made the same opening road trip 2 years in a row, Gastonia High Point. And for the second year in a row, never going back to Gastonia. Opening weekend, 4-game series, that was it.
That's it?
One series and done. We still have a trip to High Point coming up. Late August, early September in there. Fouled back. Here's another weird Lancaster at High Point fact. This is the third season High Point has been in the league. And by the end of this year, we still will have never been in High Point on a weekend. Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday.
Really?
All 7 series.
Really? All 7?
All 7.
Wow.
Against the
That's
Rockers
a
down at Truist
statistical
Park.
oddity.
1 ball, 1 strike. Klinsky leads off second. Hoover sneaks in behind him. Manoah's coming to the plate. And Morrison will take ball 2. Throw rolls through.
He must have not gotten a ground ball during the middle of the inning. So you got to give him some work. That's one of those ones you go to throw and you're like, do I really want to throw this? And you hold on to it a little bit too long.
Well, if you're going to misthrow a ball, that's probably the best way to do
probably
it.
Throw it right into the ground. Somebody will field it.
2 balls, 1 strike. Manoah to Morrison, now 3-1. And Eric is on the verge of having runners at first and second with nobody out for the 3rd straight inning.
I got to be honest, I would just spin move and just see what if he jumps off. He's got a big lead. I would just give him a spin move. Just something, even just to show it. Spin.
A look back, 3-1, ball 4. Runners are at first and second now. 3rd straight inning. Wheel, who singled home 2 runs back in the first, steps
phone
in
down
again.
to the dugout. Call an inside move here. He's gonna. I bet he says something. If he keeps getting that lead, I'll bet he says something.
Peroni is out for a visit, and this will count as one of the Barnstormers' official times out.
Huh. That's new.
Yep. You can have 3 timeouts. If you're talking signs, you invite the umpire out with you.
Oh, okay. All right.
And no timeout is charged. But if you go out there on your own, the umpire's not involved in the conversation. Wow. That should be marked down, and it should actually be signaled up here.
Okay.
As an official timeout.
So
I didn't see that signal made.
This would be something now where you're probably not going to want to do it on the first pitch because you go out and talk, and that's what you're kind of thinking. So if you're going to do something like this, you kind of actually want to not even pay him any mind on the first pitch or two. If you're going to do it, if you say, hey, 3rd pitch, like, let's take a look back, inside move, you kind of want to let him get free reign out there, and you want to look like you kind of forgot about him.
Get a little comfortable.
Yeah, absolutely. And now you can see how close the second baseman is in there. So it's kind of just like, don't even look back.
Wheel up there 0-1. Manoah to the plate.
Now I'd go. Now I'd do it. I mean, that's a strike. There's
fastball a little outside, 1-1.
We are in the same boat here, bud.
Had the opportunity to, really for the first time in all the years I've done this, as far as I know, sit and have the opportunity to watch an inning or two of Major League Baseball with the older brother of the guy on the mound.
Oh, yeah?
in the Major League game. He was watching his little brother, Alec, pitch for the Jays the other night. Check swing, he didn't go. It's 2-1. Trouble again for Eric Manoah tonight.
This is a time when you're really trying to sneak an out. So you're trying to find an out somewhere. So, like I said, and again, he might just not be comfortable inside, but you don't have to throw. That's the nice part about that. You don't have to throw that one, and he's a good 15, 17 feet off. And does this count? This can't count, right? Is this a signs thing? I mean, I think it's a signs thing, but
I think it is as well.
So what's
and we're going to have a conversation. Derek Moshe, who is the crew chief, he's the third base umpire tonight. And Jamie Keefe out to ask him, hey, aren't those timeouts? Okay. Trying to get an explanation on it. I think that's the matter of discussion.
I would assume so too, because you were saying. So what should have happened is somebody should have gone out there to make sure that was a sign thing, right?
Yeah, and also the first one, since the plate umpire didn't go out, he should have signaled to the press box one timeout. Swing and a miss at the heat. It's 2-2 now. Manoah has been able to limit the harm after allowing the first two men to reach base each of the first 3 innings. And he needs to do so again here. Here's the pitch, lined and foul past third.
Does Ross have his phone on? Is that illegal? I don't think it's legal for me to call that. Would it be?
Absolutely is not.
Yeah, he's gonna look at his phone. He's like, "What's going on here?" Yeah, if I want to get in trouble, then there you go.
That would absolutely
absolutely not. Please don't do that.
That would light up the Atlantic League fine system.
I don't think I'd be allowed back in here. Right? No, I will stay off. But let's see if I can telepathically say, "Hey, come on, dude. Let's put a little inside move here," because he at first movement he jumps.
Here's a 2-2 pitch, bouncing ball pulled foul. I'm all for the ground ball to Lair here.
Hey, I'll take that. Can you send like a runner down there? That's still legal, right?
No.
Oh man.
The Barnstormers have gotten in some hot water over the years for some errant communications. That
really
would seem in the general scheme of things to be harmless and perfectly normal. Wheel awaits the 2-2, in on the hands and fouled back. So where do you go from here?
I'll tell you where you go.
Second base.
You got it.
Feel like we're in the middle of an Abbott and Costello routine suddenly.
Yeah. Our camera crews, they're with me now. They're showing it to you. If you keep this angle when he does first movement to home, you're going to see him pop out. And if you time that right, here, watch. First movement, he gets out. There.
2-2 pitch, line drive, and it's off the backhand of Jake Hoover, trickling away. That will load the bases. I'm going to assume that will be a base hit because it was hit so hard. But boy, again, if you're able to pick that.
Oh, yeah. That gives you so many options. You can go to third and then to first, or you can go straight for the double play up the middle. I think he's got to get in front of that, and I think he knows that.
Well, it does go down as a base hit.
Yeah.
But now they're loaded with nobody out, and Mark Johnson has come out. Even if the first one were regarded as a timeout, you still can make a mound visit without having to change pitchers from the dugout.
Okay.
They'll take another look at the ball off the bat of Wheel.
Yeah, I think he had a little more time than he thought. It was hit hard, but I think he's got another step that he can get. If he gets that step and bodies that even, and then if it caroms off somewhere where you can make the throw to third, you can make the throw to second, and it's hit so hard that you probably still have time even to make the throw to first.
Well, the Barnstormers need to keep this from turning into one of those toxic big innings. Bases loaded with nobody out. The batter is Downs. He grounded out to Cordero at first, his first time up. Breaking ball, and that hit him. Now it's 3-2 in favor of High Point. All right, what is it about this Rockers team? 8-26 the Barnstormers are over history.
That's surprising. I'll tell you, one of the other tough things that I was watching some videos the other day, and runner on third, less than 2 outs. I'm not a big fan of one knee with the catcher, just because it kind of limits your ability to move laterally. Let's say he gets his leg out of the way. I don't know if he blocks that, because if he doesn't, he doesn't have the ability. His right leg was out, so it's kind of locked in that position. He doesn't have the ability to flow over and block that and keep it in front. That ball might squirt away anyway.
1 strike to Martinez, who went down on strikes back in the first inning. Bases still loaded with nobody out. Martinez takes a fastball a little inside. It's 1-1.
A little would be the the word that we're concentrating on there. That is, you can see the little eye roll there. Again, the little eye roll for the little inside. And that's a big pitch. It changes the count. You get back to a hitter's count. 1-1 is a hitter's count.
To Martinez, wrap back off Manoah's glove. The only play will be to first, and that ended up being awkward, but the out is turned 1-3 as Morrison scores. It's now 4-2. Runners are at second and third with 1 man down. Martinez will pick up an RBI. And that brings on Alfonso with 2 runners in scoring position. These balls are hit pretty hard, but the Barnstormers just can't seem to hang on to anything tonight.
Yeah, and that's again, speaking from that pitcher's perspective, it's a natural reaction to reach for that ball. But when you look back on the top side view that you had, if he lets it go, it's a double play up the middle. But you never, it's, as an athlete, you're trying to get the ball when it's near you. You reach out, it's a natural reaction to do. And then you look behind you and the guy's standing there and he's like, "What are you doing?" I'm like, the ball's at me, what do you want me to do?
1 strike on Alfonso. That one bends off the outside corner, 1 each. So it's 4-2 in favor of the Rockers, 1 out here in the 3rd inning. Manoah with the quality start against York the last time out. This evening, it's been nothing but issues. 1-1 pitch, bouncing ball to third.
Oh.
The runner will hold. Lair fires across. Throw back to second.
That's funny.
Not in time to get downs.
Did you see he swiped? He was a 1.5 feet away and he swiped and held up the glove.
Good play by the Barnstormers infield. Lair checking the runner.
Watch
to Cordero.
this.
And then back to Mercedes.
And puts it up. Not even. He's not even close. He knows it. And he's like, "Come on, I was there." There it is. He smiled at the end. Hey, that's the thing. Deception, right? You got to try to sneak outs when you can, man.
If he had sold that one, Mike Reynolds has an offseason job for him. Let's put it that way. 2 outs. Runners at second and third. He needs to get through Jay Gonzalez, who bunted his way on back in the first. Outside for a ball. It is 1-0. The Barnstormers pitching has been magnificent for this 11-game stretch, out of which the Barnstormers have won 9. Tonight a little bit off, and the strikeouts aren't there. Called strike at the knees. It's 1-1.
If you can limit this to 2, I mean, you never want to give up 2 runs in an inning. You never want to give up any runs in an inning. But bases loaded, nobody out. If you can limit it to the 2 runs there, you're within striking distance. And we saw that the other night. You know, a 2-run lead is not much. You saw a 2-run lead at the top of the first inning that you can come right back and get to. It's just it's one guy on, and then you're there. But anything kind of more than that, those crooked numbers that you get in the innings really put you behind the 8 ball. So if you can get out of this, it's almost a momentum shifter where you can say, "Hey, look, bases loaded, nobody out," and we close that down with only 2 runs.
2-1 breaking ball dances inside. Now it is 3 balls and a strike on Gonzalez.
Not the worst thing.
All
You're
the way
talking
out
about
of San Diego.
Catcher in the 9-hole, base open. You're not going to feed him anything to hit. I wouldn't be surprised with another breaking ball.
Fastball gets over.
It doesn't limit your options. It still gives you the options to throw fastball, breaking ball, changeup, as long as you have confidence in the catcher. So you're not going to feed him the fastball down the middle. You're going to be able to try to work the count, do all those types of things. He's 45 feet off over there. Just step off. Just step off. Or strike out.
Put him
Either
away,
one.
swing and a
One
miss.
of the two.
Manoah with his second strikeout. And again, the damage is minimized, but it is 2 across. And the Barnstormers trail by the score of 4-2. And for the second time tonight, the Barnstormers find themselves trailing by 2. One of the things I always dread, just have a real thing about this, is your team leaving the bases loaded in the first inning, no matter how many you score. I never want to have the bases left loaded in the first. The Barnstormers did a great job answering the 2-run top of the first right away, but they couldn't finish it off and get that one more big hit to establish the lead. Now High Point once again ahead in the ball game as Ivan Pinheiro gets ready to face Cordero, Felice, and Robinson here in the third.
I got real nervous you were about to ask me a question. I think you saw I had chipmunk cheeks. I appreciate you not throwing a question my way, because you would have not gotten an answer.
The walking taco
is done. I told you by the fourth.
Disappearing before my eyes.
It has disappeared. It has walked away. But I got very, very nervous when I also, we got a 15 count, and the next thing I heard was 9. Boy, I got 6 seconds taken out of my eating experience here.
Andretti Cordero stands in. He drove in a run with a sac fly back in the first inning. Fastball for a strike. It is 0-1. Kelly Dugan has gotten so much attention here this year, and rightfully so, that Cordero's just sort of been hiding in the shadows, but he's had a phenomenal season. Second strike at the knees. It's 0-2.
Yeah, you're looking at 314, 9 home runs, 61 RBIs. Like, that's pretty good.
In 73 games.
Yeah.
He's played every game, first, third, or DH.
Wow. Ooh.
That one got away. Ball 1 from Pinheiro, 1 ball and 2 strikes. And if memory serves me correctly, there was one game in there at second base against York back on the 30th of May. He started at second, but he's a corner guy. Big run producer is Andretti Cordero. 1-2 pitch. He gets underneath this. A towering fly ball to left center. Jay Gonzalez is back there. He'll reach up to make the catch. And for the moment, Pinheiro is living on fly balls. He's picked up 7 outs in this game. 6 have been in the air.
Really?
He has 1 strikeout.
Not normally something you want to do, but in this park, if you get fly balls to left, go for it. You'll probably be pretty successful.
Felice, the hitter, he walked his first time up. Arcs back across the inside corner. Strike one on Anderson Felice. Lancaster's been out hit 5-4 so far. All 4 Lancaster hits have been singles. Again, Pinero tries to run it back to the inside edge. This time he misses. Felice getting his feet out of the way. It's 1-1. Look at that bat.
That's one of those Mother's Day bats. Huh?
Yep. 1-1 pitch. Fouled off to the left and out of play. It's 1-2. Of course, that color also reminds me of the Turkey Hill black raspberry ice cream that no longer exists at the stadium.
We're going to find a way to mention that every time.
1-2. Ground ball pulled softly to Morrison. He's going to underhand to Pinero covering. 3-1. 2 outs. Robinson will be the hitter. Robinson struck out back in the first.
Felice looked like his timing was off a little bit. I mean, that foul ball to the left, he didn't get it looked just like he just didn't get his foot down. And then that one just looks like it's down too early, and it just didn't seem like everything was kind of connected there.
Two outs, bases empty for Robinson. Dunston, Dugan, Cordero, and Robinson all batting over 300 to start the night. Peel down to third. Caldwell says that Robinson went. No balls and a strike. Lancaster got off to a fast start offensively tonight. Pinero's been able to shut it down. Grounder foul, and it's 0-2.
What about this? So you check swing, and you go with the honor system, and if you're right, you don't get it. You don't get a strike. But if you're wrong, if you say, no, I didn't go, and you win, that's 2 strikes. Oh.
You have all these revolutionary ideas.
I do. This game would be changed forever. I mean, I guess you know what? You still got to get the 1 strike. We'll give you the 1 strike, but it could be worse. Could be double. And think about that. You got 1 strike and you check, and you're like, I didn't go. You're out. You gotta be honest.
1-2. The count to Trayvon Robinson. 2 outs, nobody on base. I thought about making any fastball above 95 illegal. And he goes down a second time. This one will require a throw. The out officially 2-3. Nothing doing in the Lancaster half of the third, and High Point retains the lead at 4-2. Barnstormers have won 8 in a row at Clipper Magazine Stadium. That streak could be threatened here tonight as High Point is out to the early lead. A couple of 2-run innings, and every inning has gotten off to a good start for the Rockers. You get a look at local product, Jeff Bianchi from Lampeter Strasburg, the hitting coach for the Barnstormers for the 2nd year here. We've been scouting in the Milwaukee organization, which was the organization that brought him to the major leagues nearly a decade ago. Manoah had been playing in Harrisburg and Rochester earlier this year with the Washington Nationals organization. A pretty good background as a starting pitcher earlier in his career with the Mets. And last year he pitched in the Minnesota system, largely in relief, and did very well there also. The only real stumble in his career has been this season in the Nats system. Didn't seem to agree with him terribly well, and that can happen, as you know, bouncing around.
Yeah. Yeah, some philosophies just don't mesh with what you bring, and they want to kind of try to change the things that you do. You know, if you're a guy who likes to rely on breaking balls, and they say, well, we want you to establish a fastball, and it's just not how you pitch. It just doesn't, like you said, it doesn't agree with you.
Ball one is outside on Mulcahy. Sacrificed his first time up. Now he'll look at a strike, and the count is even at 1 each against Manoah.
That's right. He was the
This
one
guy
with
doesn't
the good
apparently.
sacrifice.
This guy doesn't like buttons.
No, or undershirts. Does like tattoos,
though. 1-1 pitch. High pop fly behind shortstop.
Get your feet
Hoover
moving.
will call off Robinson and make the catch. One gone here in the fourth inning. Hoover has made some unbelievable catches on pop flies in a shallow left field over his 2 partial seasons with the Barnstormers. And last year's in foul territory against the Ducks cost him the rest of his season. One out. Here is Ladendorf, who has reached on an error and hit into your everyday garden variety 4-2-5 double play.
Yeah.
They happen every day.
Oh, it would be odd if it didn't happen. You mentioned, he said Manoah was in the Twins organization, right?
Yes.
I was talking about that ballpark. What is that, the Target Field? Is that what it
Minnesota.
is? Minnesota, yeah. Do you have a favorite Major League stadium?
Well,
Like current or any?
I'm still partial to Camden Yards.
I like Camden Yards, too. I think it's beautiful. I think they've done a great job with being able to kind of keep it fresh, relevant. Like, I don't mind you bringing the fences. I don't mind what you do, like changing some of those things. I just like the atmosphere of it. I like we talked about this earlier too. I like ballparks that are in cities, that you have that feel where you can get the city population just walks down there and just has that kind of feel. And I love what's the alleyway in the back?
Utah Street.
Yeah, it's just neat. It's just a cool vibe for a game. We were talking about Fenway. You ever been to Fenway?
I've not been to Fenway. I've been to Wrigley. I haven't been to Fenway.
Fenway is gorgeous too, and it's, again, I know they're probably outdated overall, but it's a beautiful setting. And you wonder, like, when that becomes like unusable, where do you go? Like, what are you gonna do?
Pulled down the left field line. That is hooking,
Foul.
and that is a foul ball, though not by much.
No.
As it rattles around in the corner.
Like the Yankees when they made their new stadium, let's see, that's all you really. Oh, yeah. And then it fell out. Yeah, sometimes, you ever had one get stuck in there where you gotta put the hand up? Really?
Yeah, happens a lot here.
We had, so this is where the benefit of me actually having played in this stadium helped my high schoolers, because we were on that side and we're out there and we got here early. So I coach at Manheim Township, which is right down the road, and you know, we won an LL League title this year, which was awesome. It was fantastic, and we got to play in here, which is such a cool experience for the kids. But I took the outfielders around, and I'm hitting balls off the wall over there. I'm putting balls into the ivy. I'm putting balls into over there, and they're just kind of seeing how you play. And you only get to play one game here. So one game, if it goes off that and you don't read it right, that could cost you the whole thing. So it was just neat to watch those kids just, even like we played Ephrata, and just being able to just watch the excitement on their faces of being able to play in a stadium like this was so neat.
Manoah wanted that one, didn't get it. It's ball 4. We've seen Eric with that reaction a couple of times tonight, and he has to deal with a one-out base runner. Ben Aklinski will come in. Aklinski has been hit by a pitch, doubled, and scored twice.
Yeah, you can see it on his face. You can see the kind of dejection, if you'd want, but
And he's wanted those calls on the outside corner
Yeah.
on numerous occasions and hasn't gotten them tonight.
And that's where you can't let that affect you. You've got to be able to go to this pitch.
To Aklinski, check swing and a foul. 0-1. It's a bit of a break for Manoah, getting a strike on that pitch. It's been steady trouble for Eric tonight through now 3 1/3 innings.
Yeah, the first two were first two guys on, right, every inning. At least he got the first out. I mean, and again, it's a big shift to be able to get that first out. It takes so much pressure off you just because you know no matter what, you still only have to get 2. It's just a huge thing. It's the most important out of every inning, obviously, is getting that first out. Well, I guess the third one would be pretty important. If you don't get it, you got problems.
Skied out of play, still 2 strikes. Aklinski this season 5 out of 8 against the Barnstormers with multiple extra base hits. He was awfully tough on us last year too. Two-strike pitch coming. Manoah a long time in the set, deals, and he foul tipped that.
I think you get that call anyway, but I think he's looking breaking ball there because he just didn't seem at all ready for that. So it's one of those ones where you use your off speed to get to that, and you can kind of get away with that pitch. Because if you're sitting there looking for it, you can get their foot down, you can time that out. But he was able to climb the ladder a little bit. I think it's a high strike anyway, but again, being able to get that first out now sets you up. You don't have to deal with that guy on first with nobody out and now 1 out. Now you can just get a ground ball anywhere and get yourself out of here.
Logan Morrison stands in. He's fouled out and walked. Takes a pitch outside and ball 1.
He's also hit with runners on every at bat so far. It was runners in scoring position until this one.
Lancaster hasn't put together a threat since the first, when
after
4 of the first 5 batters reached, 5 of the first 7.
He threw more in the first than he did in the second and third, didn't he?
Combined.
Yeah.
One ball, no strikes to Logan Morrison. Fastball past him. And it is 1-1. Morrison's contract was purchased last year, and then he decided to return to High Point for another go around. He has 140 major league home runs, a high of 38 with Tampa Bay in 17.
Wow.
Ball 2 up and away.
He's been where? Let's see, the Marlins, the Rays, the Twins, right? He was with the Phillies for a little bit, wasn't he?
Phillies,
yeah.
Seattle.
Okay. All big league time with all of them?
Milwaukee at the very end.
Really?
In 2020, but that was 9 games.
Okay.
3-1 now on Logan Morrison. Runner at first is Ladendorf. Xander Wheel waits on deck, and as tough as he's been, you don't want to make a mistake here to Morrison. Runner takes off, 3-1 is ball 4 inside. So Morrison walks for the second time. It's the 3rd walk issued by Manoah, and Wheel again will step in with 2 teammates on.
So we've gone through the first 3 innings with the first 2 guys on. He hasn't gone through an inning without getting 2 guys on. I mean, you're talking a minimum of 8 with just the guys who we've known got on. And then you get the 4 runs.
Yeah, 5 hits.
Yeah.
5 hits, 3 walks, 2 hit batters, and an error. Well, it's been a total of 11 base runners. The good
You're
thing,
almost at 3 an inning. Like, that's tough to keep guys off the scoreboard.
The good thing is that you haven't had the complete cave-in mining disaster yet.
Which last inning was. And again, you look at the scoreboard and you say, well, you gave up 2. Yeah, but it could have been 3 to 4.
2 outs, 2 on. Wheel has 2 base hits to left. And the pitch to him here knocks him down. Ball 1, no strikes, and a bit of a scare.
Oh, boy.
The wheel had to spin.
again, here I'm going back to it, but I would spin move and just see what you got at second base. He's 20 feet off.
Ladendorf and Morrison are the runners. Manoah to the plate, breaks it over, and it's 1-1.
He just must not be comfortable with even showing or doing it, because I mean, and some guys just aren't. Some guys you fall into a habit of you just don't like to pick. I didn't like to pick over at first base, but I always tried to count myself down from 5. The furthest I ever made it was 3. I never got from 5 to 0.
1-1, breaking ball again, and he gets it across. 1-2, all set up by that first pitch head-high fastball.
Yeah, which, you know, you don't like to see it, but it does set that up. It's kind of an unfair pitch because A, you didn't hit him, great, and now you throw something that looks like it's going to go head-high again and just stops.
Human nature is to want to get out of there.
Just the flinch, yeah.
Ball 1, 2 strikes. Manoah sets to wheel. He got him, a swing and a miss at the fastball. So Eric out of danger here in the 4th inning. He strikes out his 4th, and we'll go to the bottom of the 4th, 4-2 High Point. Well, Pete's glad he's not involved in this game because while we're 4-2 here, Long Island is leading Lexington 13-7 in the 3rd inning.
Yeah, that's the kicker.
At Fairfield Properties Ballpark. Guess who has 3 hits in that game, including a home run and a double? The almost 46-year-old Lou Ford.
Oh, he's still playing. Get out of here.
He is still playing.
Did he take any time off, or has he just been straight through?
He doesn't play. He was on the DL earlier
this year.
He's hitting
353.
Yes.
Oh, my gosh. That guy doesn't. He's not 46. He doesn't age. He's not real. He's bionic.
Peroni, Hoover, and Lair scheduled against Pinero here in the 4th inning for the Barnstormers. 13-7. Lou Ford's 3 for 3. I have a routine with Lou because he's owned the Barnstormers over the years, and every time he comes in here and goes 3 for 4, which is virtually every game that he plays, I walk downstairs, I drop the box score on his desk because the coaches all get him, and just say, tired of your act, Ford, and walk off.
Yeah. He's one of the nicest guys I've met. Like I remember we had the All-Star game up at Bridgeport, and I think that was how I introduced myself. I was like, hey, I can't stand you. You hit everything, and I don't know how to face you, and you're annoying. Hey, how are you? I was like, oh, okay. So, but it was like we just got to talking. He was a nice guy, and then I remember I faced him in the All-Star game. I struck him out, and I was so proud. I got so happy. I was like, why couldn't this really count in a game like a real one?
Ball 2 to Peroni, 2-1 here.
A professional. He's the definition of a professional hitter. A guy. He's 46.
He'll be 46 next month.
Oh my goodness!
I believe it's a month from today.
Wow.
Or a month from yesterday. Peroni launches a foul out of play to the right. It's 2-2. Today is the 12th. Yeah, I believe it's a month from today. He turns 46.
Good for him. Still doing it. Hitting 353.
Breaking ball, and that's strike 3 called. Peroni walked off before we got the signal.
Yeah.
1 man gone here in the 4th. Jake Hoover will step in. He popped out with the bases loaded. back in the first, and Lancaster's had 1 base runner since then. 6 in a row set down by Pinero, and 8 of the last 9. And he had to throw 35 pitches in the first inning. He's thrown just 29 since then.
That was a great sign, and now
Hoover with a fly ball down the right field side. Back goes Wheel to the wall, and the walls will not contain it.
Well, there you go.
Number 3 for Jake Hoover is second on the homestand. Of course, it would have been better with the bases loaded in the first inning, but we'll take it now. 4-3. And there is your standard Clipper Magazine Stadium home run.
That would be it. Yes, that's the one you don't like to give up.
Lancaster within 1.
I mean, he kind of knew it, though. You see the way he came out of the box? He kind of, he felt it. And I mean, when you've done it for that long as a hitter.
It hit the chairs in front of the tent. 1 hopper back to the hill, and an easy second out for Pinero as he retires Lair. Now, Dunston will bat for the 3rd time in 4 innings.
It's always funny to think the last 3 pitches he's thrown: strikeout, home run, out.
Strikeout, home run, comeback. Right?
Yeah.
This is Hoover's first hit against High Point on the year. This one's close. The last 2 at Truist Point back in April were pretty miserable ball games. 14-0 and 13-3. First game of that series, High Point won in 10 innings, 5-4. And Lancaster had the lead going into the bottom of the 8th in that one. Pitches outside, ball 1. We've had so many games get away at Truist Point. It makes you want to cry.
Is Truist a bank? Is that what that is?
It is.
Okay. I see those up all over the place now.
Well, the stadium was originally BB&T. They merged or bought out BB&T.
I can't keep up with bank mergers. I don't know who owns who or where they are or if my bank is even my bank anymore. I don't know who's got my money.
2 balls and nothing. You teach. Do you have any?
I don't know.
3-0.
Probably not.
You don't know if you have any or where it is.
Yeah. I don't know if I have it, where it is, who keeps it, if I make any.
I want to be your accountant. And now we have a walk.
Yeah, right. You look like you don't have any. My fees are extremely high, and you don't have any.
Well, we'll see if Sean takes off here. 17 stolen bases for him. He's the tying run. Lancaster down by 1, 2 outs in the inning. Mercedes stands in. Mel's 1 for 2 tonight. 10-game hitting streak. 3rd double-digit streak by a Barnstormer this year. Throw goes to first, and Dunston hits the deck. But he's been on base 3 times again.
Yeah. So you're right. I mean, you got to think, do you go? I think if you're going to go, you go early in the count because.
And he takes off. The pitch is low. The throw down to second is not in time. That's 18.
So reason being for that is if you go early in the count, even if that's a strike, and that was ball, right? That was a strike, okay. Yep. So even if that's a strike, he's still got 2 to play with here. If it's a ball, you're in a hitter's count, you're in a plus count with a guy in scoring position. If he happens to get thrown out, you got Mercedes leading off the next inning. No big deal. Yep. Like, you'd rather be in that position, but now you can get to the point where you have a guy in scoring position.
Second strike tickling the outside corner. Mercedes in a deep hole here.
He doesn't seem like a guy who's too rattled by 2 strikes, though.
He's not.
He seems like, you know what? He's one of those guys that he really buys into the it only takes 1.
The offering is low. 1 ball, 2 strikes. A base hit could tie the game very easily. Lancaster has been down by a pair twice. The lead just cut to 1 on the Hoover homer.
The Hoover homer.
One, 2. He fights that one off.
Spoil. And he saw that changeup. He saw the changeup, the pitch before, and it was down. It was the ball on the 0-2 one. and he took it. And that one, you know, he gets it again, but he gets it up and elevated. You know, it wasn't. I mean, it was a. I think it's a ball if he doesn't swing at it. But that's one of those ones way too close. But it's not something that you really necessarily want to drive. That's not coming back.
That will slice to the hill. Still 1-2.
I always. I like watching the kids run to get him on the hill, but it always makes me nervous. I'm always afraid they're just going to lose the footing. Oh, look at that. What a nice kid. What a nice guy. I guess if you stay on that hill, though, you're probably going to get a couple of games.
Oh, definitely, if there aren't too many folks out there. Mercedes batting 1-2. Fastball, strike 3 on the outside corner. Melvin has been livid a couple of times on this homestand and definitely not happy right there. The Barnstormers get one back. They leave a runner at second, and we'll go to the fifth, 4-3. One-run game through 4. Eric Manoah still out for now the 5th inning. And again, it's so critical to get through 5, especially when you're in the situation the Barnstormers are in, because you've got only one guy available off the bench. You get a look at Alberto Gonzalez, the bench coach for the High Point Rockers. He's been there since the beginning. So is Jamie Keefe and Frank Viola. Billy Horn had been the bench coach. He is now the manager of the Charleston Dirty Birds. And as I check the schedule, I am reminded that they are still in the Atlantic League.
Is it an ever-shifting landscape? You guys got to look.
We'll play them this weekend for the first time all season.
Okay.
And then we have them about 12 times in a month.
In Charleston?
We play them here. 6 games in a row starting Friday.
So you've experienced. Is the Toast Man still there?
He is.
Does he do? So,
absolutely.
All right. Nice guy.
He really is, too.
It's
Rob Gladstone, wonderful fellow. Called strike at the knees. It's 0-1.
First time we played there, you know, he's just sitting there. He's sitting there with a toaster plug. You're like, what is going on?
And heckles everybody.
Yeah. And I remember, so a buddy of mine, I played there, and we must have won, because he came up to us. It was the starting pitcher, and he must have gone deep into the game, and I was closing. And after the game, he comes and says hi to us and buys us dinner at the restaurant. Is the restaurant still out in right field?
I think it's the Italian restaurant. Still
it was
open.
Definitely not Italian when I was there.
I think
it
it's
was
an Italian restaurant now.
It was I think the stadium owned it, and it was like like ballpark kind of food and hamburgers and stuff. It was good, but he bought us dinner. I was like,
He still does.
Yeah.
It was so funny to watch last year because we had Anderson De La Rosa and Caleb Gindel, and they had both played in Charleston.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And they were both friends with the Toast Man. The Toast Man was heckling them all night long, and then took them to dinner.
Yeah. And you're like, for all the things you
just
said to me and about me, how are you going to buy me dinner? But I'll take it. We ain't making any money. I'll take the dinner.
1-2 pitch, taken low by Downs, 2-2. Leadoff batter here in the 5th inning of a 1-run contest. He does his research too.
Yeah, he does.
He got
absolutely
all over Scott Schumann one night last year. The first night Scott had appeared there. Scott had one bad outing all last year. It was against the Ducks here. Yeah. He knew all about it. He's like, how about that game against Long Island, Schumann?
And you're like, wait, what? I don't even. I'm trying not to remember that.
You have to tune him out.
Yeah,
3
and it's tough
2.
because he is right there. Like certain people you can tune out if they're just somewhere in the stadium, but when you're front and center and I got to come set and you're waving toast at me, oh.
And opposing batter strikes out. He starts flinging toast around the crowd. You're toast. Here's a 3-2. Downs, ground ball, second base, and that's mishandled by Mercedes. Downs reaches first base. The Barnstormers are having a night in the field they would probably just as soon forget. They're fairly hard hit, but Mercedes has that ball every other game. He'll just gobble that up, throw it across. It will be an error charge to Melvin. And it's the high point factor, I think.
And I don't think that's him taking the at-bat out there. I just think it kind of ate him up a little bit. It was hit hard, and he just couldn't get his feet into a spot.
Fastball up and away to Michael Martinez.
Like you said, too, he makes that play 9.9 times out of 10. Sometimes you can't get the glove down. It jumps on you a little bit because he was positioned well. He had himself in the right spot.
Up and away for ball 2, and now you're in that danger zone where you might have 2 on, nobody out again.
All I want to do is say, "Danger Zone." That song. You know that one? What's it from?
Kenny Loggins.
There you
Top
go.
Gun.
Good. Yeah, I was going to say.
I just saw the sequel.
Yeah, I have not seen that yet.
2-0.
I had a mustache the other day. I'm working on it again, and somebody said I looked like Rooster. Is that a guy in there? Rooster?
It's Rooster. He was Goose's son.
Okay.
Goose from the original.
Yeah.
There were a couple of times, though, in the sequel, I don't want to spoil things, but I just wanted to yell at the screen, Goose died 36 years ago. The grieving period's over. 2-1.
Goose. Too soon.
Foul ball back, 2 balls and 2 strikes. Michael Martinez and Melvin Mercedes, a double play combination for the Barnstormers for a while back in 2019. And sometimes I thought of Melvin as just being Michael Jr. And they're very, very good friends. I mean, they got really tight.
That normally happens when you get a guy who you are just in the middle with all the time. Those guys normally get together. That's
ball 3 off the inside corner.
Okay. I mean, he is not missing by much on those. And you could tell those are the ones you want. And you can tell that, again, I mean,
tried to tail it back. That was probably inside.
Yeah.
But our camera angle is off
a touch
center.
off to and it's a little more sold by the jump out from the hitter.
And that's clearly ball 4.
Yeah.
So runners at first and second with nobody out again.
And now you're in the predicament of trying to get through that 5th inning with how many pitches? At
high. Let's put it that way.
So
94.
94 with the first 2 guys on in the inning. And also, it's not like it's 7-2 and you're like, look, just eat this inning for me, and so we can keep the DH. You're talking about a 4-3 game that you don't want to get away. So now you have to make that managerial decision of, do I go to my bullpen, lose my DH, and then have to have pitchers hit in a game that's still 4-3?
First and second, nobody out. The batter is Alfonso, who's 1 for 2.
But you know I did it there, right? I mean, you do that there to see if you're going to bunt, but
yes,
you had it. Yeah. Oh man. So he can do it. He knows he can do it. That's good discipline by the batter if he's not bunting to not throw the hands down.
To Alfonso, ground ball, shortstop.
Oh, boy,
it'll be taken by
play.
Hoover, Mercedes, and a first, a double play.
That had some unfortunate news written all over it until he came through with that. Look at this.
Downs
and
to
it
third,
takes that
ground
little,
ball,
oh man,
snapped it up, but kind of played an in-between hop
there. Yeah, so that's exactly right. He came back and he didn't want to wait on it, because you wait on it, you get that extra hop, it might play you. You come through it now. He didn't have a chance to come through it the entire way. So you come through it, and then you got to kind of have that wild sweep through it. Ooh, boy. That's just having good hands.
Jay Gonzalez stands in, 1 for 2, a bunt single and a strikeout. Manoah has a chance to escape here in the 5th inning. That double play critical.
Huge.
To Gonzalez, foul to the backstop. It is 0-1.
We talked about this early. That setup from Peroni back there is just a little it makes me a little leery. Like anything in the dirt, you can't slide and block. I'm hopeful that it's a fastball here, so he shouldn't be going to one knee. You wouldn't think he would. Oh, he does.
No balls, 1 strike. Gonzalez takes it high and away.
I'm sitting here. I'm about to get down in a catcher squat in the thing, trying to figure out, like, if I'm down, like, that's the other thing, too. When he misses, he hasn't missed, like, with some of those breaking balls. He's missed pretty close, but he's also had some big misses, too. We saw the one run up and in on the right-hander. We saw the one hit the guy in the back foot.
Here's a 1-1 pitch. Got it by him. That was something taken off.
Yeah.
And it's ball 1, 2 strikes.
But you got to have the ability to because if you have any foot down, that high pitch, you can't flex and get up and get that pitch, and you can't kind of slide over to block the other ones. It's a big pitch right here.
1 ball, 2 strikes. And a Gonzalez check swing. They'll appeal to third, and he did not go, says Nate Caldwell.
You flipped him again, didn't you? Isn't that Moshe?
Rather, it's Moshe. Yep.
Yeah, you were going off what they gave you earlier.
No, well, that's what they. Yeah, that's what they texted me earlier.
Oh, I don't know. That's close, but
2-2.
And you see he blocked that one, but if you go to the replay and you see the front of it, he blocked that square in his body because the ball was square in his body. If that ball is 6 inches one way or the other, it's a tough sell to switch and go the other way, because if you see this, it's there. He didn't have to move anywhere. That ball just comes back into his body. I'm a little, again, like I said, nervous if it's 6 inches one way or 6 inches the other.
100 pitches now for Manoah. This is number 101.
He wants, come on.
The 2-2.
Yeah,
strike 3 call. He's out of the inning. The error is negated, and the Barnstormers stay within 1. 1 error, 1 left, still 4-3. Golden skies beyond Clipper Magazine Stadium tonight. A lovely sunset as the clouds have parted enough. Not only enough for the sunset, but enough to allow us to get this ball game in. There was a point today that whether or not we would play this evening appeared up in the air, literally and figuratively. But the range all sort of settled to our south.
Yeah, we had a period too where it was when we started the game, it was fine out there. You know, we're sitting here looking out towards left field. We got a beautiful view from right here. It's the only thing we can't see is down in the right field line. No big deal, right? All right. So we're looking at it left field, and it was the beginning of the day was great, and then we had that period of just like that sun that was just beating down on you, and it got hot in here, and then it kind of went away for a little bit. Then it came back, but now that it came back, it's dissipating down there, and it is a beautiful, beautiful evening.
Here is Dugan, 1 for 2 with an RBI. The Pinero pitch, cut on and missed, down a strike. It is 0-1. Pinero has done a decent job with his second lead. He did give up the Hoover home run last inning, and now Kelly slaps the ball foul past first. And I've said this repeatedly with Kelly over the last week and a half. And he's still wrapping out base hits and driving in some runs. But he's in kind of in that rut where he's either popping the ball up the left or pulling ground balls foul past first. And we've seen both here tonight. 0-2 pitch is bounced. That is ball 1.
it looks a little jumpy. Like it doesn't look smooth. Like the ground balls to right, or the ground balls to the right side. It looks like he's just kind of jumping out at those, and then the ones that he's late on, he looks like he's just kind of
1-2 pitch.
It's
and
hard
there's
off the bat.
A fly ball to shallow center. Alfonso goes back to take it.
And I mean, it sounds funny to say a shallow fly ball is hard off the bat, but it's not like it's weak contact. It's not like it's being flared out there. He just has to stay behind the baseball a little bit. And I mean, if you sit there and talk to him, he'll know that. He knows sometimes you know the issues, you just can't correct them right away. So it's a matter of timing, and pitching is all about disrupting timing. And when you have a guy who's disrupting his own timing, it just becomes a little bit easier.
Cordero skies this to right center, and this
keeps going.
should keep going.
Yeah.
That ball is off of the gate and in play. Cordero to second with a double.
I
and
think
his
you and
hitting
I
streak continues. I thought that was a routine out.
Because I'll tell you why. You and I got deked by the center fielder. If you watch the center fielder run after this, he doesn't seem to be going, and maybe he knew that, hey, I'm going to kind of check up a little bit.
I'll tell you, who did a great job on that was Wheel.
Right fielder, yeah.
Because that could be a triple.
Yeah.
The way that ball kicked off the gate, it hit one of the poles and rolled sideways.
If he stays still, you got a guy on third right now with less than 2, which in a 4-3 game is enormous.
That base is huge, just one out in the inning, but runner at third versus runner at second is a world of difference. Ball one high and outside to Felice. It is 1-0. Cordero with his 16th double of the year, which ties half the ball club for the team lead. Dugan has 16. Shaver left with 16. Felice has 16.
That sounds fun. It ties half the ball club for the team lead.
Foul ball back. It is 1-1. Cordero has just been remarkable. He has hit in 6 straight. Before that, it was
bats.
5
Look,
straight, 4 straight.
He changed bats.
No longer the pink one.
No.
Fooled there, and it's 1-2. Robinson on deck, and Pinero has very much had the better of Trayvon tonight. Ball 1, 2 strikes. Tying run out at second base here in the home half of the 5th inning. Pinero comes to the set. Here's the 1-2, and just able to fend that one off is Anderson Felice.
He seems to be wanting to dial in that changeup with Felice and kind of counter that aggression. He's thrown it the last 2 times. He's been ahead of it the last 2 times. I wouldn't be surprised to see something out of the zone fastball-wise and then go back to the changeup just to try to set it up and see if he'll chase out of the zone, or you go right back to the changeup.
1-2. Anderson reaches out, pops it up. Foul territory, and Michael Martinez over to the tarp, but no play.
So he's thrown 3 in a row. He hasn't had a good swing on 2 out of the 3, and he took one. Do you throw it a 4th time? He's seen it 3 times. I almost shy away from throwing a pitch like that 4 times in a row. I'd be more apt to throw a slider 4 times in a row because that was all I threw. But
here's a 1-2.
Yeah.
Oh, more heat on that, and strike 3 call. Felice in disbelief.
So the 3 changeups prior set that up where it's, that's a ball. That's, I don't know. I think that's down and in. But you could see that he wasn't ready for that pitch, and it wasn't 98, it was 89 on that pitch, and it's, that's something you see every day. You see at least 89 every day almost. And he just wasn't able to get there. 3
of the last 8 Barnstormers have been caught looking at strike 3. Peroni knew it.
Yeah.
But Mercedes and Felice wanted to beg to differ.
Yeah.
1-0 here on Robinson. Cordero at second base, still looking for a ride home. Robinson now takes ball 2 with Peroni on deck.
I was lip reading Mercedes as he walked by, and I think he said, "Sir, I disagree with that call, and I don't believe that it was right." So I think that's what he said. I'm pretty sure.
Sounds reasonable.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I'm close on that one.
2-0 to Robinson. And he will take a strike on the outside corner at the knees. Lancaster still trying to make up 1 run. And often this year that has been a tall order. Pinero looks back to Cordero. 2-1. Robinson fouls it at the plate. Ball comes back up and hits him. Now 2 balls and 2 strikes.
Later in the game, when he gets into a pitch or into a count when he needs to make a pitch, he's thrown the changeup. 2-1 count there. He needs to make a pitch to get back into the count. You're either looking for a swing over and miss, or a ground ball and something to get out of it. I wouldn't be surprised if he goes back to that again and throws that changeup again. That's what he seems to be going with.
And to Robinson, he missed with it, ball 3.
But you can see the confidence level that he has in that. When he needs it, when he wants a pitch, he's going to the changeup.
I think it's how he's gotten Robinson a couple times. He's got Feliz that way. Mercedes called 3rd strike was a fastball.
Yeah, and he had, but he probably, I forget that at bat, but he set up, he had Feliz set up for the fastball because of that changeup.
Robinson awaits the payoff, and he will get ball 4. Peroni with a chance. 2 teammates are on. Pinero walks his 4th.
That seemed like a very similar pitch that Mercedes got. And
Peroni has walked and he has struck out looking. Pinero now has thrown 93 pitches. 101 for Manoah.
So again, here you got a mound visit. Is this a... Because I don't see any umpires going there.
This should be a timeout by the rules of the Atlantic League.
He's asking too. Look at Ross. He says, "What is this? What is?"
Meanwhile, it looks like we're going to get some action started. Get a look at Chasen Bradford.
I just think there's like I don't think the communication is kind of what it needs to be to see the mound visits, the timeouts, all those types of things.
Well, this rule's been around for a while.
Yeah.
Now Peroni takes a strike. It's 0-1, and everybody should be clued into it. But this league, from time to time, will tweak things, and we on this side of the business aren't always necessarily informed. Peroni batting 0-1 against Pinero. Breaking ball is low. Good stop made by Mulcahy.
Peroni should see, he should know, and this is where you hope that the guys who have gotten out previously come in and say, look, when he needs to make a pitch, he's going to off-speed stuff. He's going to breaking balls. He's going to the changeup, and especially the changeup late. So let's sit there. When you get into a count where he needs to make a pitch, sit changeup.
1-1 fastball high.
Because it's not like he's used the fastball to great effectiveness spotting up early in the count. He uses all the other secondary pitches to then, if he needs a pitch at 3-2 or 2-2 late and he's used the secondary stuff to get you there, he can get that pitch.
Runners lead off first and second, swing and a miss at the fastball, and now it's 2-2 on Anthony.
You have to be a disciplined enough hitter to kind of go backwards and sit breaking ball and just foul fastballs off. Normally you want to hunt the fastball.
It was a breaking ball that froze him back in the 4th inning leading off.
Yeah, and I think you just have to sit there and foul the fastball off and be disciplined enough and good enough with your hands to do that.
Here's the set. Here's the 2-2. Swung on and missed. It was another fastball.
Yep.
6 strikeouts now for Pinero. The Barnstormers leave 2 more. And we're through 5. High Point leading by 1. have ourselves a one-run game at Clipper Magazine Stadium. We have ourselves a new pitcher for the Lancaster Barnstormers. As right-hander Brett Clark has come on in relief. He has been a prized long reliever for manager Ross Peoples since his arrival back in late May. He had a couple hiccups early, but this guy's given up just one earned run in his last 17 innings.
Wow. That'll lower the ERA.
Clark taking over for Manoah, who allowed 5 hits, 4 walks, and hit 2, but again, avoided disaster.
Yeah.
And sometimes you're going to have the base runners happen. Eric didn't necessarily have the greatest defense behind him that the Barnstormers are capable of putting out there. You'll see a lot of those hard-hit ground balls eaten up and turned into outs some nights. Tonight, it seemed like Lancaster couldn't hold on to much of anything, a couple of errors contributing, but Manoah got outs for the most part when he needed to get outs.
Yeah, and you run into, again, like we've talked about this before, just trying to limit those big innings. And 2 runs is not a massive inning. And to be able to look at the, what was it, the third where it was bases loaded, nobody out, to be able to just get 2 in there, and then to go through and get through 5 when you 4 out of those 5 innings were first 2 guys on base, weren't they? Or at least the first runner.
4 of them.
Yeah, think about that. 4 out of the 5 innings that you throw, you had the first 2 guys on with nobody out. And to get out of there with only 4.
And in 2 of those, it was errors starting the innings.
Yeah.
So Manoah,
credit to him to be able to stay in
5,
it. Yeah.
But yeah, he definitely toughed it out tonight.
Yeah.
Avoided disaster. Wasn't as sharp as he was against York last week, but not as bad of an outing as it might appear on the score sheet.
No, absolutely not. I mean, you want to leave the game with the ability to keep your team in it.
Here's Mulcahy, the catcher, and he takes a strike. It is 0-1. Clark working ahead in the count. Brett Clark has great off-speed stuff. He has been really, really tough on right-handed batters. The 0-1 chipped to short, and an easy play for Hoover. Second time in a row, Jake has retired Mulcahy. 1 gone, and the batter will be Ladendorf, the second baseman, who's had an interesting night. He's reached on an error, he's walked, and again, he hit into that very routine 4-2-5 double play. That was big, getting Manoah out of the second inning. Again, if you weren't with us, it was a pop fly to shallow right. Mercedes and Dugan almost collided. Mercedes made the catch, and the lead runner, Giovanni Alfonso, came halfway up from third. Mercedes fired the plate. Alfonso tried to get back into third, didn't make it.
Could almost argue that would be a 4-9-2-5.
I don't think Dugan touched the ball. He just touched
He
Mercedes.
just touched him. That's a little assist. Give a little assist. You could put that in parentheses right near the 4. Again, I don't think my scoring rules would fly in any of these.
I don't think so either.
Or the changes that I would like to make.
Ball 2 to Ladendorf. It's 2-0.
Like if you turn a double play with 2 outs, you get an out the next inning. You just got to get 27 outs.
That would be revolutionary.
Yeah.
2 balls, no strikes, and Clark misses badly again. Ladendorf bats 3-0. Barnstormers pitching has cut down on the walks lately, but you wouldn't necessarily know that here tonight. Right-handed hitters batting just 151 off of Brett. He delivers a strike, the first to Ladendorf. It's 3-1.
That's a beautiful sky out there.
It is just remarkable.
Yeah.
We'll see if we can pan to it after a decision on this batter. 3-1. Ladendorf pops it up foul out of play. 3 balls and 2 strikes here.
We got an expert camera crew. I'm sure they'll get it in there.
3-2, and there you go.
Oh, look at that. I mean, that's.
It doesn't get better.
Does it? Does it not? It does not. That is beautiful. Nice job, guys. down there in the truck. Do we have a truck?
We have a truck. 3-2. This is
I've always
hit
wanted
in
to
the
see
air
that.
to right field. Mercedes back, Dugan in, and this time Kelly gets the shot at it. 2 up and 2 down off Clark, and Klinsky will step in. He scored 2 of the 4 high point runs.
Yeah, I've always wanted to say the guys in the truck. We got guys in the truck showing us awesome camera shots out there. Oh, there's the
our
truck.
truck.
Look at the guys. They're in the truck. There's guys in that truck.
They're
Oh, they're
guys
hard at
in
work
that
in that truck.
Out
Boy, oh boy.
on the other
Look
side
at that.
of the backyard.
Oh, no way. Look at that. That's pretty funny. Thanks, guys. Now I get to... the guys in the truck. The unheralded crew in the truck. Sorry, we missed the
best in the
ball.
business. Ball 2 on a Klinsky. Clark has not gotten ahead of hitters in this inning. He has retired 2 on the pop flies.
But you can definitely see what makes him hard on right-handed hitters. He gets up to that balance, and then it's just boom. It's just quick. It's just a quick movement from getting here to bam. Oh, and that too. I mean, that I know that's a ball, and I know it's 3-0 now, but just to be able to see, I haven't seen that pitch. I haven't seen him throw that slider yet. And if he keeps the front side in, he kind of gets really quick at you, and then has that.
It's been an outstanding pitch
Yeah.
for him. He's a guy who's never been in a major league organization. Pitched briefly for Charleston last year.
So on that replay I'm watching there, that's a situation where if he wanted to run to first, he could have, right?
Yes.
But you got a 3-0 count, or a 3, whatever it was, yeah, 3-0. Like, there's no reason to try it. But you could kind of see the umpire ran it, backed out of the way to kind of look what's going to happen here. And the hitter had that stance. Like, he was like, hey, do I think about it? Do I go? Now, what's the definition of going? Out of the box?
2 feet out of the box, and in the opinion of the home plate umpire, a clear effort to go to first base.
But it has to be both.
Yeah, the whole thing blew up.
That's got to be tough to read.
The whole thing blew up on Zach Shank back in 2019 down in Sugar Land, and they ruled him out. And we had video evidence that his back foot never left the box.
Yeah, so it's clear intent,
But, it's
but also
supposed to
having
be
to have
clear
2 feet out of the
intent
box.
and 2
Yeah.
feet out of the box.
Oh,
It's
man.
the way it's registered, because sometimes you're going to fall forward. You can
or you get that
one
false
step out of the box. Yeah. And you decide not to. Ground ball toward the middle.
Stay down.
Mercedes gets to it, throws to first. He got him.
That's
oh my.
a tough throw to make. I cannot wait to watch that play again.
Melvin Mercedes going a long way to his right and getting that throw off. What a play. And he sends us to the bottom of the 6th. The lights have taken over here at Clipper Magazine Stadium. 4-3, High Point leading the Barnstormers, and we get to the bottom half of the 6th inning. And a newcomer on the hill for the Rockers. This is Chasen Bradford.
I was looking at their roster a minute ago. Tell me if I'm pronouncing that guy's name right, or if it would be the right way that I would want to say it.
Austin Glorious.
What a great name, Austin Glorious.
Originally, he would fit with this sunset, by the way. Originally I was told he would be throwing against us on Thursday. Not the case. Jake Hoover, Trace Laird, Sean Dunston.
Look, you can see, look at these. There's 3 people down there taking pictures of the sunset. They're either listening to us or they're buying into this beautiful sunset. Right down behind home plate, you got 3 people with their phones out.
32-year-old Las Vegas native, chasing Bradford on the hill. Been to the major leagues with the Seattle Mariners. Topper toward third, and an easy play turned in by Michael Martinez against Jake Hoover, who had no chance to get out of the box there.
Yeah, I mean,
and if he heard something.
I know.
Looked like he just stumbled.
Yeah, and I think he kind of, at that point, was like, you know what, let's not compound
let's not
the
risk
issue.
anything.
Yeah.
1 out. The batter is Lair. He's 0 for 2.
I'm feeling something good for him. I feel that a nice little locked-in single. That's the one I felt it on. That's the pitch.
First pitch strike, and it's 0-1. Bradford 2-1 with a .484 ERA in 23 appearances. It's become a battle of the bullpens now. The Barnstormers need to make up a run still. Chopper toward the middle. That will be taken by Ladendorf. And he cuts down Lair. It's 2 up, 2 down. And Dunston, not that it's a foreign concept to Sean, but he's going to be forced to take a pitch or 2 here. Lancaster hasn't been given much of a break at all by the High Point defense tonight, and that's been a trademark of the High Point team over the years. And the Barnstormers at times just seem to play their worst against the Rockers. And it happened the first couple of innings tonight, some errors. One of the runs unearned, that's enough. Dunston will take a strike from Bradford. It's 0-1. Now he's going to be forced to go to work. 3 times he's been on. He has a run scored. He has a stolen base. You can't ask much more out of him.
No, he's done his job. I mean, he's done everything you ask of a leadoff guy, and a guy who's just trying to find the. Apparently he knows the strike zone, because I thought that was a strike.
Ball is low. It is 1-1. Mercedes waiting on deck. Should Dunston get on with 2 outs again?
Sometimes guys like this get the benefit of those close pitches because umpires know that they know the strike zone so well.
1-1 line drive out the right field. And
he's on for a 4th time,
for a base hit. Yep.
Man, the more I watch him play, the more I like watching him play. They look at. Oh, they thought it was caught. They're sitting there playing it. Yeah. Oh man.
Dunston has done this to me several times. When it comes off his bat, you always think it's going deeper than it actually does.
Good job, Ross. I guess that's one way to buy your pitcher sometime is like get the middle of the inning promotion going already.
Melvin Mercedes will be the batter. 1 for 3 for Mel tonight. He's been on base almost 50% of the time for the last 3 weeks.
We're in the same position we were in. Do you send him early?
Does he go?
I don't know.
He's stolen his 18th already tonight.
I think he looks like he wants to.
An inexperienced catcher back there.
He's going.
Bradford to the set. There goes Dunston. The pitch is taken. Here is the throw, and they do not have him. Make it 19 for Sean.
That to me, you got to pick over. And especially even like as the first baseman, as Lomo over there looking at that, like you just the setup. He did it the first pitch last inning, and you know the situation you're in. You're trying to get a runner into scoring position with 2 outs. You're gonna take a pitch.
Here's a 1-0 from Bradford. That is recorded as a strike on the outside corner.
I think you even just give one of those little cursory just step off and toss over just to see if if he's
taking off too soon. Yep.
Or even if he just kind of bobbles his feet or does something, you can kind of read that at least. But you and I are up here reading it, and I mean I said it before he went, hey, he's going, because you can see the setup. And credit to him, I knew he was going. He gets in there. It's a great job.
1-1 pitch, chopper by Mercedes. Easy play for Ladendorf. The underhanded feed to first. And the Barnstormers still can't get that tying run over. They're hitless in their last 6 at-bats with a runner in scoring position tonight. They leave their 8th of the ball game and will go to the 7th, still 4-3 High Point.
I don't want to harp on it, but we keep, I mean, that, I'm just sitting there stuck stare at that. That's a picture.
Look at how many different shades there are. You've got,
I mean, and that doesn't even do it
shades.
justice. That's beautiful on screen, but when you're here, it's just deep, man.
Reds,
And there's a
oranges,
baseball game going on.
yellows.
Can't get more than this.
Still a little bit of blue sky thrown in there. Striated.
Sometimes we talk about baseball too, which is sometimes it's ice cream, sometimes it's princesses, sometimes it's clouds,
sometimes it's
sunsets,
superheroes,
sometimes it's superheroes,
and sometimes baseball. Here's
sometimes
Augie Silk.
we'll mix it in there.
Augie working out of the bullpen now more than as a starter. He's the swing guy for Ross Peoples and Mark Johnson. And he is still a mystery. People might have thought, why do you bring a guy back who was 5-7 with a 9.09 ERA a year ago? And why do you hang on to a guy who's 3-7 with a 5.87 ERA? Well, the answer is this. I was talking with Frank Viola about him earlier today. The answer, he's so close.
Yeah.
And for 2 or 3 innings, and you don't know which 2 or 3 innings is. He can start, have a bad first inning, and then run the table for 4. He can retire the first 12 and then walk the first 3 batters in the 5th. But he's so close to being something magnificent. He's got terrific stuff. Now he faces Wheel leading off here in the 7th. First pitch high and tight. Ball 1-0. And he's got to keep it close. The Barnstormers are thinned out 2 of their key hitters without Clark and Shaver. And it makes it a little bit more difficult, you would think, to be able to play from behind the game. Strike to the inside corner. It's 1-1. Wheel, Downs, and Martinez. So you've got right, left switch here in this 7th inning.
Yeah, it's guys like these that you're right. You keep because, man, if they figure it out,
you don't want somebody else having them,
you don't want
and
them
then
to
he
figure out
figures it
somebody
out.
else. Yeah, you don't want them to go somewhere else and then figure it out. So you try to find those little tweaks that you can make, those little things that you can do. But again, it's because it's so close. You don't want to make big tweaks. You don't want to do things that get him out of rhythm. And then it's like, okay, this isn't you. You got to keep the guy who they are. So, I mean, that's why for the first 2 pitches, I'm sitting there, I'm quiet because I'm just trying to watch the mechanics and see, like, okay, well, like, what do I see? What are some things that might be causing some of these just differences in swings? Like, hey, you're so good for 2, then you're a touch off for 1, and then you're back to good. So, I mean, it's an interesting case study in kind of those dynamics of keeping everything fluid and doing your job and then kind of getting out of rhythm.
2 balls, 2 strikes. Here's the motion. The pitch popped up. Peroni strips the mask off, but he will not have a play on this one. It's well off the field. 2-2, the continuing count on Wheel against left-hander Augie Silk, the LA area native.
I mean, there's some things like I watch and I'm like, man, there's some things I'd like to try with, just get down in the bullpen and work on. But there are also things that might not necessarily fit into how he pitches.
2-2, rifled foul past third, and it will continue. This will be the 7th pitch of the at-bat. Brett Clark worked an inning, walked one.
So the things that I kind of look at, that I'm looking at right now, I see 2 different speeds right now. And I'm not talking about velocity on the baseball. I'm talking about slow, fast, slow. And it seems like that's hard to maintain. When you can get your rhythm and you can get your timing and you can get on, it creates deception. But if you can't, and what I'm talking about is when he goes through the windup, he goes over the head, and then he gets down quick, and then it kind of slows down again. So you see 2 different speeds that and we'll see it right here. So it's kind of, I'll say deliberate, quick, deliberate.
Payoff pitch is elevated toward left center field. This can be a tough time of night, but Dunston has it gauged. He will make the catch for out number 1. Wheel retired a 2nd straight time. 1 gone, and the batter will be the designated hitter, Jerry Downs.
Those are the things, though, that might make him so successful when everything's timed out right. But when it's not, you're that little, like we've talked about time and time again, those little off timing pieces, those little milliseconds that you might miss by are way bigger when you're talking about throwing that ball over 60 feet, 6 inches.
They're amplified on the back end.
Yep.
To Downs, breaking ball in a great spot. Starts him off with a strike at his 0-1.
So now, like that pitch, like you said, a very good 0-0 breaking ball. Hopefully will set up that pitch later on. So thrown it twice now. You have the ability, like to me, you've thrown it, you got away. The first one, 0-0, good. You got away with that one, I think. Now I would throw that again and just throw that into the ground. Just bury it because he's seen those 2 up. You're either gonna, he's either thinking you're gonna go away from it, or he's thinking, hey, I'm gonna get it again, but use the over-aggression, use that and bury that downhill.
Here's the 0-2, fastball wasted outside. He would not go for that. It is ball 1, 2 strikes.
And that's what I think. That pitch is a byproduct of this ballpark, because I would rather have that pitch thrown inside to set up the slider that you would want to throw here. But since you have that short porch, that's the pitch I wish you would have thrown prior.
You do pitch a little differently here.
Yep, absolutely.
By necessity.
It's just something that you come into this ballpark, and no matter if you want to or not, you kind of fall into that pattern of avoiding missing inside. And that's why Juan Apodaca was so good as a catcher.
Here's a 2-2 pitch. Outside now, and it's full. 3-2, 2nd straight batter.
So the other thing that we've seen, he threw breaking ball, strike, breaking ball, strike, fastball, 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 ball, ball, ball. Kind of gets out of a pattern of like, well, what worked? What got you to 0-2? The breaking ball got you to 0-2. Now, do you feel confident enough to throw that 3-2, knowing that if you miss, you got a guy on?
Here's a payoff
and he
pitch.
Did.
He went to it, popped up. And this near the mound, it'll be Cordero coming in, and they let the ball fall.
That's where, and look, he knows it, and it's just one of those ones where pitchers are always told to get out of there, but they're athletes too. At this level of baseball, anybody on that field is an athlete who can catch a fly ball, because I'm sure Augie Silk at some point in his life has played a different position. So he knows how to catch a fly ball, and he knew it. He said, like, he's looking at like, you know what? Why didn't I just take that?
Peroni, I don't think, saw it off the bat
and he's not
to pick it up.
Yeah.
And Cordero had to come in a long way because he was with the left-handed power hitter at the plate.
And
he's
2
well
strikes.
behind the bag. He had a long way to go. You're supposed to get out of there. Cordero charged with an error. And there's a ball smoked foul down the left side off the bat of Michael Martinez, who turns around to bat from the right side.
So, yeah, you look back at that, and as it went up, Silk called it and then was like, you know what, but I'm not supposed to catch this. So I'm going to kind of say no, and then falls on the ground and he kind of tapped the chest like, you know what, I got that. I should have taken it. But you saw the pitch that got him to that was that breaking ball, and he threw it 3-2. So he had the confidence to throw it 3-2, which is awesome, but when you get to 0-2, I think you've got that one waste pitch that you can use, the fastball, but I want to see that fastball inside and then hammer that breaking ball.
Ball 1, strike 1, chopper foul, right to the bat boy.
All right.
And he made the clean play on it.
Yeah.
We have some good fielding bat boys here, I can tell you.
None of them are catchers, though?
They don't want to give up their eligibility.
Yeah, not with that fielding percentage. So I would love a in the dirt breaking ball. Throw it hard, like bury it.
1-2, Silk looks to first, and the Martinez swing and a miss. He didn't bury it, but it broke a ton.
I mean, if you can do that, and again, when I'm sitting there saying bury it, throw it in the dirt. Like, yeah, if you could do it and he's going to chase and you can block that ball, great. But if you can also get that. The other thing you want to do is be able to throw that kind of back foot, which that's what he did.
Yes.
So when you have that amount of break, you don't necessarily have to worry about burying it, because guys who throw a quicker, more dynamic breaking ball are going to have that buried, because you're going to throw that lower in the zone. When you've got a breaking ball that sweeps across from the left-hand batter's box to back foot against a righty, you could afford to do that.
To Alfonso for a strike. It is 0-1. When the Barnstormers played at High Point earlier this year, they made 1 error in each of the 3 games. Tonight, 3 errors charged to Lancaster. Fastball, and it's 0-2. And realistically, there maybe could be more than 3.
Yeah. And you had some mental miscues too, but and look at the score. You're down 4-3, and you've had opportunities. You're leading on the scoreboard in terms of hits, and you don't win a lot of games losing the error column. Well, winning the error column, I guess that would be. That's not a column you want to win in. It's the only one.
Here's the 0-2. It stays high and outside.
I get it. I get that pitch. Now throw the back foot. So I get that you're trying to get that point where you can catch that outside corner, because it is such a big breaking ball that you kind of give up on it as a hitter. Now I throw the back foot breaking ball. To me, I mean, that's just knowing and seeing what he's done with it. And I think that's what he wanted. And you don't want to miss there. That's the one you don't want to miss. But I think when you see Peroni move in and set up inside, that's the pitch he's looking for, is the one that sweeps across and down toward the back foot of the right-handed batter. Now I think you got to throw a fastball, though.
Downs the runner at first. He twice has been aboard
on
an error.
You know what?
Here's a 2-2 pitch, and it's popped up.
Yeah, there you go.
Shallow enough right field. Dugan is there, and Silk works around the error, gets out of the inning. 1 error and 1 man left on base. Time for the stretch. It's 4-3 High Point. Xander Wheel brought in the first 2 runs of the game. The Barnstormers had a very quick answer. A quirky double play, getting Lancaster out of plenty of trouble in the 2nd inning. And then a ball hit back. Manoah blocked it to keep it from potentially being a double play. Hoover with a home run. And it has been 4-3 ever since. And there's your defensive gem of the game, turned in by Melvin Mercedes. We said that a lot.
Yeah.
Lancaster still down 1 as we go into the bottom of the 7th inning.
I think the most impressive part of that play, that Mercedes play, is the throw, because he didn't square back. He kind of just threw back over that shoulder in stride, and it was a dart.
And hit
it was
his
on.
spot.
Yeah. Oh, my gosh. Normally, you got to kind of open up and at least either jump or do something to get something on there. He just said, no, I'm going to whoop. That whoop is the... I teach with a lot of sound effects, too. My kids are always like, what was that? And I'm like, I don't know. When I give like little baseball stuff, I do sound effects. So that whoop is him throwing the ball back over his shoulder.
Dugan, Cordero, Felice scheduled against Bradford here in the lower half of the 7th inning. Lancaster still needing to make up a run. They've left the man in scoring position each of the last 3 innings, and that has been the tying run. Ball to Dugan, who's 1 out of 3.
And I think you're going to see continuously the way that they attack him like they did on that first pitch. Even though it's a ball, I think he's going to be a guy that you get changeups outside more often than not and fastballs outside more
Hard
often
hit
than
ground
not.
ball.
Oh.
Diving play made by Ledendorf. And did they call it?
I think so,
yes,
yeah.
they did.
Yeah.
It's not the first time. Dugan is on.
That's as a fielder, you're like, but did you see the play I made? Come on.
Made a tremendous play. And you get a look at it. The glove tipped the bat, and it happens to Dugan a lot. He knew it. He signaled for it. He got the call. Well, the Barnstormers have the tying run on. It's technically an error charged to the catcher, which we know.
But also, look at this play. I mean, that's what, as a second baseman, you're like, come
spectacular
on,
stop
man.
for Ledendorf.
Oh.
All
all
going
for
to
naught,
waste.
Yeah.
Cordero,
Hey, you got a base runner on, nobody out.
Cordero, the batter, he has a sac fly, a fly out, and a double. 1 out of 2 here tonight. Anderson Felice and Trayvon Robinson will be following.
You could see the way they attacked Dugan, though. They stayed away, changeups and fastballs outside, and that's just something that you've said that he's struggled with his timing out there. And with that open stance, he's not a guy that you want to go in on. So you're gonna attack out there. So now you got to try to put this into get a guy in a scoring position, move him over, get him in.
1 strike the count on Cordero. Dugan does have the 7 stolen bases for the year. Bradford to the set, and it's 0-2 on Andretti. Well, this is where the Barnstormers' biggest downfall has been here in 2022. Not necessarily on this homestand or this stretch where they've won 8 in a row at home, but in general this year, they have been in a lot of ball games. They get the runners on. They can't get them home when they desperately need to. Cordero bats 0-2. Bradford to the plate, and there's a ground ball toward the middle, and it's past Alfonso and a base hit. And now the tying run's on. The lead run is on. If that's a couple of feet to the left, it's probably a double play.
Yeah.
Cordero able to snake it on past Giovanni Alfonso. And it's 2 runners on with nobody out. Anderson Felice will be the batter. Now, here is a situation where
back to the pink bat, by the way.
you want to bunt, the pink bat's bat.
Yeah. So
you might
this
bunt
is where
here, but then they can work around Robinson. They've got Peroni and Hoover right-handed batters up.
Yeah.
So
this is where you take a look at the defense.
Left-hander swing away. Martinez creeps in from third, and there is the bunt. The play will have to go to first base. The out is recorded 5-4. So the sacrifice is successfully executed by the Barnstormers. Dugan goes to third, Cordero to second with 1 out. Robinson has struck out twice and walked. Here's the question: do you pitch to him right now? With Anthony Peroni on deck, who's walked once, struck out twice?
I do, just because as a pitcher, I don't want to be put in a situation where I have to be better because the bases are loaded. I'd rather try to get this guy. I'm going to pitch around him, but not necessarily not pitch to him at all. I'm going to throw him things that I want him to get himself out. I'm not going to give him something to hit. So, yes, indirectly I'm pitching around him, but I'm also trying to force him to get himself out and use his aggressiveness of, hey, there's 2 guys on. I could be the guy who gets us up 5-4.
Ball 1 to Robinson. Runners at second and third with 1 out, and now Trayvon gets ball 2 outside, 2-0. So you've got to think that it's going to be up to Peroni to get at least the tying run over here in the bottom half of the 7th inning.
And, I mean, like you said, he's had a pretty rough day at the plate where he just has to kind of forget about that and think, well, this is my opportunity now. But we got to get to him, too.
2-0 pitch. Robinson goes for it, a swing and a miss, and now it's 2-1. This part of the order has not accomplished much tonight.
No, you see, though, that they didn't really feed him anything to hit. They went away, and he kind of, I think if you would ask him and say, you know, are you really trying to hit that pitch? He'd say, no, I wanted something because I know what they're doing to me.
Robinson bats 2-1. Dugan at third, Cordero at second. Bradford to the plate. Robinson swings and misses at the fastball, and they are coming after him. It's 2 balls and 2 strikes.
And that pitch he swung at 2-1 allows you to then try to get back into the count 2-2. And now it doesn't matter. You can throw 2 breaking balls in the dirt if you believe your catcher's going to block them. To me, I'm sitting here, I'm throwing 2 changeups in a row outside.
Here's the 2-2. Robinson check swing and a foul ball back. He'll stay at 2 balls and 2 strikes.
So they went with the fastball up because that's the one he threw. Like, that's the one he just swung at. So now, again, you're looking at that saying, okay, if you're going to swing at that one, I'll go back to it because I don't think you can catch up to it. But it's all set up by that 2-0 swing outside, which gets you, you know, a little more confident in the count as a pitcher. You get to 2-2, and now you're sitting there thinking, you know what? I'm a pitch away from having my defense be able to kind of sit back a little bit. You got to make that pitch, though.
Peroni waiting on deck. Here's a 2-2. Robinson, ground ball, base hit. In the center, Dugan scores. Cordero will come home, and it's 5-4 Lancaster. They pitch to Robinson, and Robinson makes them pay. Lancaster has taken the lead 5-4.
That's that situation where getting that confidence to get back in the count kind of hurt you. Because now you're sitting there thinking, well, now if I make a pitch, if I get in the zone, I can get out of this inning. I can get this guy and then just have to face the other guy with the base open. So by getting that back into the count, it's kind of it's an odd dynamic of thinking, well, now I can get him. And then now you're attacking him and now you're missing the zone.
The Barnstormers up by 1, have a runner on with 1 out, and the next pitcher down the road is coming in for the High Point Rockers. We'll be back with Junior Rincon taking over in a moment. These are the hits the Barnstormers struggled to get the entire first half, but now that the second half has begun, those hits are coming around for Lancaster. Trayvon Robinson, who's been swinging a very strong bat as of late, coming up with the tying and go-ahead RBIs, and now a man who was a Barnstormer a year ago, Junior Rincon, takes over. Here's a guy who's really bounced around the Atlantic League. He's about to join the Bryant Nelson Hall of Fame. As a matter of fact, he might already be there. Rincon has been with York, Somerset.
Nelly's son just graduated high school. You see that?
Yeah, Prince.
Yeah. He's a pretty good ball player.
That he is.
Yeah.
Does that surprise you?
Not at all. Not with that. Not with the skill set Brian had, and the fact that he's another one of those guys. He's a Lou Ford-esque kind of like dude who could just hit and hit everywhere he went.
Well, they're two of the 1,000-hit club in the Atlantic League. Ray Navarrete and Jeff Nettles, the others. Rincon at York, Somerset, Lancaster, Charleston, and just a couple appearances under his belt with the Rockers. He'll face Anthony Peroni, his battery mate from a year ago. Robinson, the runner at first with one out. The bunt pays off for the Barnstormers. Peroni will take a ball off the outside corner, 1-0. Barnstormers leading by 1. They had been 0 for their last 6 with runners in scoring position, 4 of them strikeouts. And then Robinson singles up the middle at 2 balls and 2 strikes to give the Barnstormers the lead. High Point also a team that has, as of late, been struggling to win close games. Throw to first, Robinson hits the deck. Their last 13 losses have all been by 4 runs or fewer.
Wow.
It sounds like the Barnstormers season series against Southern Maryland, where the Blue Crabs have won all 9 and none by more than 4.
9-0.
9-0.
Oh my God.
Peroni batting at 1-0 against Rincon. There goes Robinson. The pitch is taken. The throw is high. Robinson has his 3rd steal. And that is the 3rd for the Barnstormers in the game. This is a very high steal percentage team.
Yeah.
Very good base running team. Or at least base stealing team.
And when he got on, I'm kind of thinking, you know, what are the pluses and minuses of this? If he gets thrown out and then he's out, you got Hoover leading off. But Hoover also, you know, had a home run today. And so they picked over. And then I thought Rincon did a really good job of holding there. But with that hold, like Robinson he was sat in it and was ready to roll.
You also have a young catcher behind the plate. And the Barnstormers are going to test him until he throws somebody out.
Yeah, and he hasn't, I mean, his throws have been up for the most part, so.
Peroni a chance to pick up an insurance run. 2 balls and no strikes. Rincon to the plate, and Anthony hits it to center field. Gonzalez a few paces over to his left. He'll make the catch, and Robinson will force a throw, but he never intended to go. Now it's up to Hoover. Jake 1 for 3 with a home run back in the 4th inning. 5-4 Lancaster, bottom 7.
So this is a very big at bat to me, because I'd love it if he finds a way on and you can at least get to Lair, because then you can roll over, and with the way that Dunston has been swinging and getting on base, you would love him to lead off that 8th inning.
Yeah, you sure would. You'd also like this extra run. To Hoover, it is low. Ball 1 and no strikes from Junior Rincon, who manages a bus company during the offseason. I thought that was one of the...
Maybe that's why he's going to all these different teams. He's getting contracts. He's getting bus contracts for everybody.
I thought that was one of the more interesting sidelights for a professional player. (1-0) to Hoover. Ball 2, and that's to the backstop. Robinson goes to 3rd.
It'd be a very interesting list to see every different job a minor league baseball player has done. I bet you'd hit a whole bunch of them.
Giving lessons and substitute teaching are the highest. They're the top 2.
They've got to be. Yeah. It would be you'd fill a whole anthology with that.
Dan Osterbrock.
I love Dan Osterbrock.
Grave digging.
Yeah, that's the best one.
That was the best one ever.
You can't beat that. Oh man, he and I used to we used to bring our bikes on road trips. We'd go riding around all over the place.
2-0. Hoover with a take. Ball 3.
So again, the benefit of this at bat too is if he gets on and Lair gets up, and Lair can get on. Now I'll take Dunston up with the bases loaded.
The way he's been swinging the bat lately.
And not swinging. The way he's been taking. The way he's been getting on.
It's been silly how much he's been getting on base.
This is a very critical
3-0.
There it is.
There's a walk.
He's missed down with all those fastballs, too. I think you take if I'm Lair right here. Again, I think you sit one pitch. I think you figure out whatever that pitch is for you, and you sit there on pitch one. If you don't get it, and he throws something else, and it's a strike, okay, tip the cap. If you get it, you go for it. Other than that, you might sit there and take a strike until you get that pitch. You take a strike. Force him to be able to throw a pitch in the strike zone.
Trace Lair, the batter. He's hitless in 3 tries tonight. Runners at the corners for the Barnstormers, and you could see Hoover take off. He's not, and a Lair, ball 1 is inside.
Yeah,
now Hoover's got the speed to steal. He's 11 out of 12, but there are other things at
all those
play
dynamics
here.
there. I would have him anchored down, kind of. You know, you want to get a good secondary, but again, if I'm Lair, I am cutting the plate in half, and I'm looking outer half for a fastball, and if I don't get that outer half fastball. And again, I'm just saying this is you can cut it out, you do whatever you want here. If he wants an inside fastball, then you cut it in half on the inside. But you looked at one pitch.
To Lair, it is ball 2 off the inside corner now, and Rincon is missed with 6 straight.
Same thing. I don't think the at bat changes here. I think you cut the plate in half, and you look on whatever side you want the ball on. If he wants the ball outer third, then you look outer third, and if you don't get it, you take the middle in strike, and you say fine, because it's still 2-1. I'm still in an advantage count, and you haven't thrown many strikes lately.
Frank Viola out to discuss the situation with Junior Rincon. Trace Lair batting 2-0. The inning has gone catcher's interference, single sacrifice single, a stolen base, a fly out, a wild pitch, and a walk. 2 runs home. The Barnstormers leading 5-4, and High Point will be forced to come back against the back end of the Barnstormers bullpen, which we talk about all the flamethrowers out there. Now, the discussion has become somewhat lengthy, and P.J. McConville will break it up. By rule, you're supposed to have 30 seconds on that mound visit. Now, Viola intentionally giving it to P.J. McConville, and Frank is gone.
I don't know what.
Well, we thought somebody might get thrown out tonight, but I was more of the belief it was going to be somebody wearing white. And now Nate Caldwell gets in between the two, and Jamie Keefe, Giovanni Alfonso trying to calm Viola down.
He is not. I don't know what he's unhappy about, though.
Now Jamie Keefe
got to go.
Jamie Keefe is getting in there, and Nate Caldwell will break that up.
So this is, as an umpire, you have to get out.
You're going to have Bert Gonzalez as the bench coach conceivably.
Yeah, you got to.
And now Logan Morrison
that's what Logan's saying.
Is getting into it.
He's just saying, like, you cannot engage. Like, you have to, and they keep doing it. Walk away. You have, he's right. I agree. If you see Lomo right down at the bottom, he's right. Walk away. Like, to me, that's a situation where you have to diffuse the situation because you're in that position.
And you don't know what.
No, and I don't.
You don't know what the verbiage were.
Oh no.
I don't see it necessarily being a call.
No, I didn't see it
that
either.
Lit the fuse of the High Point Rockers.
But the fuse
in this
was lit.
inning. But boy, was it ever.
Yeah, let's take a look. I mean, and it starts when he turns and comes to break that meeting up. He lays into him quick.
And pitching coaches at times will go out to the mound,
but I don't know what it's
establish
about.
a confrontation.
And he's still doing it.
There goes Frank. And now we've got, if we can get back to the field, Viola just covered up home plate.
But I don't like. Am I missing something here? Because the Rincon was not missing in and out; he was missing down.
That's what I thought also. Frank Viola waving to the crowd.
I thought he hooked the manager.
I think I read that, Frank. Your mother would not be pleased.
Did he say that I disagree with all of the things that you've been saying lately to me?
I believe so, yes. He walked by McConville and decided to go back and force some housekeeping.
But he's a
he is definitely complaining about the strike zone. No question about that. The mound visit was all to set up the altercation. Coaches will do that from time to time, and it's not like Frank Viola has limited baseball experience or anything.
Yeah, it's not his first rodeo.
Well, the Barnstormers.
But again, I'm a little befuddled, if you will, about. It's got to be calls from a while back. It's not calls from this inning.
I don't believe it is.
I mean, if we go back, and it's not Rincon's calls, because I think if Rincon's like, dude, I haven't thrown many strikes, man.
I haven't seen people gripe other than Manoah and Mercedes in this game.
Yeah, so
I haven't really taken note of High Point players, but they must have been back in the dugout.
I don't know. Unless he's really
chirping quite a bit.
But again, I think that whole situation too.
I don't think Jamie Keefe was tossed. I don't recall seeing him. I thought he was going to be.
I thought he was, to be honest. I thought he was. I thought I saw a hook in the back that maybe the guy was like that. Maybe Derek was just like, you know what? Never mind. Let's not exasperate this situation here. But
2-0 to Lair. Runners at the corners. There goes the runner from first, and
that's almost a given. There's two almost givens there. It's almost a given that you're just going to let him take off.
In this game, I think you have to give that a stolen base, but it looked like defensive indifference.
Yeah. But it was almost a guarantee that pitch is going to be called a ball.
3-0 with 2 in scoring position. Rincon to the plate. He sails that, and the bases are loaded for Dunston. Back-to-back walks here in the 7th. The Barnstormers with a chance for breathing room here. And Rincon has missed with 8 straight. Now, here's what will grind my gears, and we've seen the Barnstormers do this often, is swing at the first pitch right now. After Rincon has missed with 8 in a row. Dunston maybe the least likely to do that.
Agreed.
He's 0 for 4 with the bases loaded.
And that's where we talk about where you have to pick. If he swings at the first pitch, it's because he got the pitch that he was looking for, and that's the only one you can swing about. You can't be fooled by a pitch and swing at it. But I mean.
Rincon to the plate. He misses. It's 9 straight.
I'm very curious to see what I'm not going to dive into it, but just what the argument was overall. And obviously it was balls and strikes, and it was the strike zone.
Well, we realized that later.
Yeah. Just all the
1-0 pitch. Dunston lets it go, and that's 10 straight. 2-0. Now you've just about got to take at this point.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you take it until you get a strike. I do think, and I do believe that this crew could have done a little better job at diffusing. But you don't know what Frank said. And sometimes it's, again,
that's 11.
Yeah. Sometimes it's human nature to engage when somebody said something to you where it's hard to walk away. So you gotta imagine that some of that argument was directly related to
3 balls and no strikes. He probably shouldn't even be in the box right now.
No. Yeah.
Here's the 3-0 pitch, sails high. That forces in a run. Dunston gets the RBI by standing there. Robinson scores. It's 6-4, and Mercedes will come to the plate. And that will close things out on Chasen Bradford. He gives up 3 hits, 3 runs, 2 earned. 2 outs in the inning. And that run will be earned because catcher's interference, you act as if the at-bat never existed. So it doesn't count as an extra out. It counts as a nothing. So his run is unearned, and now we're going to have another mound visit and a pitching change.
Hey, this could get interesting,
Mercedes due. So Jamie Keefe coming out.
No, the last casual mound visit ended in fireworks.
He did not get tossed. Rincon has faced his minimum 3 batters. He, in fact, has faced 4, so they're free to make the change. And Junior Rincon will depart. We have another right-hander coming in. The Barnstormers now up by 2 here in the bottom of the 7th, and Melvin Mercedes will try to expand that when we return. Well, after 12 straight pitches out of the zone from Junior Rincon, Ryan Dull takes over to face Melvin Mercedes with the bases loaded and 2 down here in the bottom half of the 7th inning. Dull from the High Point area is from Winston-Salem, 32 years of age, and with 5 major league seasons under his belt with Oakland, the Yankees, and the Blue Jays. He was an oft-used setup man for Oakland at one point in his career. Breaking ball gets the plate, and it's strike 1 to Mercedes. He, too, has had his moments with plate umpire P.J. McConville tonight. Batting with Hoover, Lair, and Dunston aboard. 6-4 Barnstormers now. 3 runs in this bottom of the inning. Dull to Mercedes. Here's the 0-1, and the fastball is popped up on the left side of the diamond. Martinez signaling for it, and he will pack it away to end the inning. Dull gets through it on just a couple of pitches, but Lancaster takes the lead. 3 runs on a couple of hits and an error. 3 more left on base. 6-4 Lancaster. The Barnstormers have taken the lead on catcher's interference, a couple of hits, 3 walks, and they're up by 2 going into the 8th inning, and now it will be Josh Graham providing the challenge for the High Point Rockers. Jay Gonzalez and then Dakota Mulcahy to be followed by the top of the order, Tyler Ladendorf, as you get a look at Graham and some impressive numbers. He doesn't throw quite as hard as the others in the Barnstormers bullpen, but he might have the best secondary stuff. Trying to hold it through the 8th, and then if the Barnstormers are fully back in shape, you'd see Schumann for the 9th, but it could be West Tunnel as well. Graham from Roseburg, Oregon, and a former Oregon Duck.
I was just jealous of the Oregon Ducks because they all they're obviously Nike's backyard, and they get all their uniforms are just awesome. I mean, they're
is that
sometimes
baseball,
weird.
Baseball as well as football?
Yeah. Yep. So I think what I read years ago that they had a pinstripe uniform, but the pinstripes were actually the words of their fight song. So they had put all the pinstripes, all the words of the fight song were down in the pinstripe. So it looked like a pinstripe from far away, but if you got up close, it was the words of their fight song.
Inside to Jay Gonzalez for a ball.
It just said quack, 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 quack.
York has had a jersey like that.
Yeah.
I forget what it was, the names of all of their original season ticket holders or former players or something.
I always think it's neat the pictures that they make of people's pictures that make up one big picture of something else.
Yes.
Those are neat.
1 ball, 1 strike to Jay Gonzalez. Blair well off the line at third. Graham is outside, ball 2, 2-1. Barnstormers leading by 2. And the back end of the bullpen that certainly has a tremendous amount of promise to hold on to most leads. 2-1 pitch, driven out to left. Back on this goes Robinson. He'll haul it in for out number 1. So important with a short lead like this to get that first out. Robinson never had an issue with that one. One man down, and the scheduled hitter is the catcher Mulcahy, and that's who it will be. Again, he's just turned 24 and freshly out of college. He's a New Hampshire native, went to Southern New Hampshire University. See their commercials online all the time. But it is actually a campus too, and not just an online university, unlike the University of Phoenix. Could you imagine what kind of a sports team the University of Phoenix could put together?
Yeah, right. That would be
Ball
one for the
nothing.
ages.
They'd have to spend a lot of money on
travel. Would be, the travel might be your issue. A lot of individual sports.
Breaking ball across the knees.
They could do an esports team.
They could do that.
You could play from anywhere, I guess.
They could do that. But Arizona State also has a massive online school, and so does Liberty.
Oh, yeah. I've seen that.
Liberty's maybe the biggest of all. 1-1, swing and a miss. Graham gets the fastball by. It's 1 ball and 2 strikes.
His, like you said, he might not be the hardest thrower in that pen, but the secondary stuff makes the fastball velocity seem higher. That 92 plays like 95. And any hitter will come up and say that they don't feel like it's 92 because you have to sit on that secondary stuff, and you have to respect it so much.
Here's a 1-2 offering. Line drive right at Melvin, and he catches it on his haunches.
There you go. And held it, too. He framed it and everything.
2 outs.
2 hard-hit outs, but they're outs. You'll take them when you can get them. Right there. He brought that back in the zone. He brought it back in the zone.
How do you not fall backwards?
I think he's a little more athletic than we are.
I think we found our other catcher.
Yeah, right? He knows. Boom, got it.
But Melvin has caught 1 inning in his career. So he might be the backup.
He's auditioning right there. He just did it. He brought that ball back in the zone.
He had one of those games when he was playing for Stockton late in the season, about 6 years ago. He played every position.
Oh, fun.
2 outs. Here is Ladendorf, and he will pull it out to left. Just about in his tracks with a little dart back as Robinson. Hard hit 1-2-3 inning, but the
6 pitches?
Rockers had 9. The Rockers go down quickly, and we'll go to the bottom of the 8th with Lancaster leading by 2. Well, he got everybody up and doing the twist here as we go to the bottom half of the 8th inning at Clipper Magazine Stadium. A 2-run Barnstormers lead. Lancaster trying to win its 9th straight at home and 10th out of the last 12, and send the Rockers to their 6th straight loss to open up the second half of the season. And both these teams have gone through a lot of struggles this year with trying to replace players. High Point lost 3 of its starting pitchers in the first 3 weeks of the season. The Barnstormers faced a guy, Justin Nicolino, there, who was just exceptional.
Former teammate, yeah.
And well, they've had to try and...
I saw he was struggling a little bit, but...
They had to try and fill in the gaps.
That's tough.
And it's not an easy thing to do. The Barnstormers have experienced a lot of injuries to the pitchers. The signing of Brent Teller, the injuries all over the place, and now to Ladarius Clark, who's out for a significant period of time. Colton Shaver has his contract purchased by the Jays. And it's very often a question of the players you can find in the middle of the season. And this year, I don't know that anybody in this league has done it better than Ross Peoples. To Kelly Dugan, I think he just missed that one. A foul ball back, it's 0-1. Kelly tonight is 1 out of 3 with a very crucial catcher's interference.
Yeah, that's the you're right. The timing of where you're at right now and trying to find players. Again, if you're not familiar with minor league baseball, with professional baseball, with affiliated baseball, you might just think, well, just call somebody that is ready to play. Well, you don't necessarily know who that is.
Yeah, you don't have that. But when you look at this club and you look at the fact they found Manoah, they found Dunston, who I think is the key to everything. Getting Brooks Hall and Trayvon Robinson to come back. 1-1, busted bat, liner, foul. Second strike on Dugan. Cordero and Felice will follow. The rest of the lineup pretty much has been here all season, but I think it's building the bullpen, and for a while it was by necessity because you didn't have Graham and you didn't have Schumann available. So you go out, you get Brett Clark. He's been tremendous in a long roll. Cole Aker has been excellent. West Tunnel, another great pickup. Ross has done, I think, just a tremendous job filling in the holes.
And then it's everything that you've been saying, and you look at the record, and the record doesn't speak for what you've put together and the statistical things that they have accomplished.
One out as Dugan pops to short. That'll bring on Cordero, who's 2 for 3 with a double, a run scored, a run batted in. But I looked at one statistic on the off day yesterday to see exactly how the Barnstormers fit in the Atlantic League. And that is the differential between OPS and OPS by the opponents. Mm-hmm. And the Barnstormers are actually, if you look at that, the third best team in the Atlantic League this year. Yeah. And the two ahead of them are Gastonia and High Point, not Southern Maryland. Southern Maryland's actually fourth, despite that ridiculous 52-20 record. Yeah. Because Southern Maryland has won so many tight games. I mean, they've beaten the Barnstormers all 9, but the Barnstormers have out-hit them in about 6 of those, and they haven't been beaten by more than 4 runs.
Yeah, you mentioned that earlier, the fact that that's been the story. You're what are we at here?
Fastball high.
30,
there you go.
What,
they
34
say he
and 38. 34 and 38. And more than 50% of the time, you're out hitting your opponent. You know, so I mean.
Well, the OPS differential coming into tonight was plus 68, which is a huge gap.
Yeah.
794, 722 against.
So you're sitting here thinking, well, you're getting more hits than your opponent. You should win more of those games, and that's what the struggle has been, not getting the hits when you need the hits.
Well, the Barnstormers have 101 more hits. This is before tonight. 170 more total bases. 24 more steals.
For a team that's 4 games under 500.
That's what makes it crazy. Line center field, and there's the third hit for Cordero. He is a hit machine. He is the Atlantic League leader. That was his 96th hit of the season. And Anderson Felice will step in 0 for 2 with a key sac bunt. Cordero doesn't walk a lot, but he doesn't have to. And that's why you have somebody like that batting 4. I like him in the 4 spot. He's not necessarily a big home run hitter. Felice swings and misses behind a fastball, down a strike. It is 0-1. Robinson, who had the clutch 2-run single last inning, waits on deck. It will be Aklinski, Morrison, and Wheel in the 9th inning. Well, that is a tough row to hoe for its West Tunnel warming up in the bullpen. 0-1, swing and a miss at the high heat. Dull continues to challenge Felice. It's 0-2.
And you talked about having Cordero in the 4-hole, even though he's not your prototypical home run hitter, but you kind of see, not necessarily even a shift as of late, but more teams throughout baseball will have that home run guy third, because you want him to get up. Obviously, he's going to get up no matter what in the first inning. So you kind of want to see a little delayed steal.
Swing and a miss, and they just let Cordero have second base. They're not even holding the Barnstormers runners anymore.
So that's one where if you get that backside angle for this, they're just nobody's alerting there. And I don't think he's going right off the bat. I think it's a little jump, go. So where it looks like it's just a secondary, and by the time you start going, everybody's geared in on where that pitch is, and now he slid, but he didn't have to slide.
Well, they're giving Cordero a stolen base because of the game situation.
Yeah.
Robinson takes low. We'll see if they pitch to him this time. Turned out to be a mistake back in the 7th inning. Crowd tonight listed at 4108. I suspect a lot of people were chased away by the weather. And again, most of it went to our south. We got some rain mid-afternoon. 1-0 pitch. Fastball is outside 2-0. But as so often happens here where the stadium is located, the storms break up and go around. Most of the stuff today went to the south.
We had
Southern Maryland's been rained out.
Oh.
Tonight. Charleston got rained out also. Robinson with a blast down the right field line. Will it stay fair? It's off the Tents and a home run. Trayvon Robinson with a 2-run shot makes it 8-4. A 4 RBI game, 4 in 2 innings. Robinson has found new life this season. He wasn't going to come back. He was sitting out, and he found that he missed it terribly at home in Phoenix. And Ross called him, and he came in at the right time. You talk about mid-season acquisitions. Well, he has been a great one this year. Here is Peroni, who's 0 for 3 with a walk. Lancaster are now up by 4. The dull pitch lined right at Alfonso, and that will close out the inning. But Lancaster tacks on 2 more as Robinson goes wild at the end of the game. 2 hits with no errors, nobody left on. And now the 9th inning will come up with the Barnstormers up by 4. Here's something to like, Pete, unless you happen to be the closer. But the Barnstormers on this homestand have scored in the bottom half of the 8th inning in every game.
We talked about that the other day.
Again, here tonight, they stretched the lead out too much to get a save. It's happened a couple of times now. Sullentrop the other day. Because the club keeps scoring in the bottom half of the 8th inning. But you actually have to like that. 2 tonight, 4 on Sunday, 1 on Saturday, a couple on Friday, an extra run for insurance on Thursday night, and 2 to win the game on Wednesday. You like the way that's going because the team is starting to put games away. And by the way, the streak goes past that. They also scored a run in the 8th inning of the series finale against Staten Island the weekend before. So this is 7 straight games where the Barnstormers have scored insurance runs in the bottom half of the 8th inning to help salt games away. They're trying for their 9th straight home win. As West Tunnel takes over, and he's one of the flamethrowers.
So every inning that Morrison is hit, he's hit with somebody on. This would be the time you would rather avoid that.
It's, of course, critical even with a 4-run lead. You want to get the leadoff hitter.
Correct.
And just establish control of the inning. You see Tunnel with all that hair tied up.
Yeah, that is a massive amount of hair back there. I don't even know how you... I mean, he's got an intricate system.
First pitch, high and inside to Aklinski for ball 1. Tunnel throws hard. He tends to be a little bit wild when he first comes out.
That's not a fun thing for a hitter to be like, well, yeah, if you're the first batter of the inning, he's not real sure where it's going.
He's given up just 12 hits, but he's walked 15 in 22 innings. 1-0. Fastball met, fouled away, and the count will even at 1 strike. Well, when Tunnel came in the win over the Genomes back on Saturday, he hit Moises Sierra with his first pitch.
You got close on that one.
Count is 1-1. Keep an eye on the official radar gun here. 1 strike, and it is upstairs on Aklinski. Make it 2-1 with Logan Morrison waiting on deck. Leadoff batter in the 9th inning. High Point trailing the Barnstormers by 4. Here's a 2-1. Fastball runs in. 3 balls and a strike. And as I said, Tunnel tends to come out and be a little bit erratic with his first few pitches. The first batter that he faces has walked in 2 of his previous appearances. He's hit that batter twice. 400 on-base percentage against him for the first batter. And he walks Aklinski to start off the 9th here. 6th walk given up by the Barnstormers tonight. Logan Morrison will step in. He's 0 for 2 with 2 walks, and one of the outs, an absolute pickpocket by Mercedes up the middle. Tunnel's only throwing about 94 tonight, so Ross isn't going to get anybody else throwing yet.
I would imagine it's not going to take. I mean, you get 2 guys on, and I would imagine that there's going to be some
with
movement.
a second guy on, it becomes a save situation.
Yeah.
So here,
I always like those when you get the guy on second, and you'd come in with 2 outs with the guy on second, up by 4. I'll take that.
Up by 3.
Up
with
by 4
one guy,
with a guy on second, it counts.
And a guy on first.
Yeah.
Morrison swings away, hits a fly ball to right center field. Dugan will take charge, and he'll make the catch, but that ball started to die in a hurry out there, and it got scary for a second. Tying run has to be on deck. That is the save rule. 1 out, 1 on. Xander Wheel comes to the plate.
I don't agree with the first pitch swing there. I mean, that was the first pitch, right?
And now it looks like Dugan is winded, maybe had to extend himself a little bit, and Anya Holmberg will go out to check in on Kelly. I mean, we're going to be signing people walking down Prince Street after too much longer. And he's had problems with a leg muscle this year, but he seems to indicate that it's a problem with his foot here. And right now I can relate. Devon Torrance is going to come in and take over defensively. So Dugan will come out. Well, he limps off the field. And he had to come, as it turned out, a long way to get that.
Oh.
When he was stretched out, that he was pointing to his foot, but that looks like something that would be an issue with a muscle with the kind of last-second lunge. But in any event, Kelly coming out, and 1 out, 1 on. Xander Wheel, the scheduled batter. The Barnstormers need 2 more outs to win their 9th consecutive game here at home and take sole possession of first place in the second half, because Staten Island was rained out at Southern Maryland. Well, if you're the Barnstormers, who do you root for in that series? Lancaster 5-1 starting tonight. as was Staten Island. Southern Maryland, the first half champs at 4-2.
I guess you got to go Southern Maryland, right? Because if they win, you go to the team in second place, or the best overall.
It's the best overall, and the Barnstormers are still a ways behind teams like Long Island and High Point for that. Wheel steps in. He is 2 for 4 with a couple of runs batted in. This game did not get off to a very positive start for the Barnstormers. And a Wheel, it is high, ball 1.
So you got gifted an out there to me with that pop-up. I mean, it's not a gift out when you lose a right fielder, but 4-pitch walk, swing at the first pitch. With a guy who's erratic, you look at his 15 walks.
Here's a 1-0, and that is swung on and crushed to left center field. Dunston and Robinson both going back, and the walls will not contain it. That is the 18th of the season for Wheel, and it is now an 8-6 game with 2 outs still to get. That is a long home run out of this ballpark.
The deepest part. But that's the thing. You're living dangerously by the 4-pitch walk. Every pitch was up. Up. Pitch to Morrison. Got away with, but guys can catch up. If they know where it's going, they'll catch up to it.
Didn't get away with that one.
No. And you could see, I mean, even if you're talking about, what was 95, 94-9 there, 95, guys can catch up to 95 at their hands if they just get their hands going and they know where it's going to be.
So here is Jerry Downs, who is 0 for 3 tonight, though he's reached on an error twice. 1 out, nobody on, and Tunnel is high and outside. It is a ball 1-0.
He tried to go with something other than the fastball that he hasn't been able to command. I think if you see a ball here, you get somebody in the bullpen, and I can't see now, but you might have somebody moving around. If this is a ball, I don't think it's a question.
Swing and a miss.
Oh boy!
So it's 1-1.
He tried to hit the stadium route.
Yeah, Tunnel's a guy who has hit 98, and he just doesn't seem to have it tonight. Everything's been a fastball except for the first pitch to Downs, and a lot of it's been up, but the velocity's been down. Here's a 1-1. That skips to the backstop. 2 balls and a strike. Michael Martinez is on deck. He may be only 5'8", but he can pack a punch. Lancaster is still 2 outs away here. If they have to bat in the bottom of the 9th, it's Hoover, Lair, and Dunston. And you don't have a bench anymore.
Nobody. I mean, you got somebody doing dry work down there, but nobody ready to roll.
2-1 pitch, swing and a miss. A little bit off of that. Now it's 2-2. This, to me, is a critical batter. You'd still have to get 1 more out, but you don't Alfonso, the guy on deck, is a right-handed hitter. 2-2.
And you don't have that tying run at the plate.
Tying run on deck.
Huge.
Here's the pitch to Downs. He checks. He did not go. It's ball 3 and a full count. 3-2. An 8-4 lead has been whittled back to 8-6.
So
and now
confidence in the fastball?
The tying run on deck. I think you've got to challenge him here.
I would agree because I haven't seen many.
Very little difference between a walk and a home run.
Yeah.
You've got to go with what's going to give you a strike and avoid the walk.
And I don't know. I would throw a fastball.
Here's the payoff. Line drive caught by Hoover before it touches the dirt. 2 outs. I'll tell you what, there have been some well-hit balls off the bullpen the last 2 innings. And now Michael Martinez will step in. The tying run remains in the on-deck circle.
That's placement right there. Understanding a scouting report and sticking with the scouting report and pitching to a scouting report.
Michael Martinez, the batter, with 2 outs and the bases empty. Lancaster still up by 2. So you've got a bit of wiggle room. Giovanni Alfonso, the shortstop, waits on deck. And to Michael, it is high, ball 1. 1-0. Lancaster with a couple of home runs to the ballpark tonight, and Wheel with the home run for High Point away from the dimensions of the stadium. It is ball 2 on Michael Martinez, who stepped away. He was taking that the entire time. 2 balls, no strikes on the veteran infielder with a lot of time in Major League Baseball under his belt. Loves playing the game. 2-0 to Martinez. Tunnel will go to work. That is a strike. Martinez again was backing out. 2-1. He broke the hearts of Cleveland Indians fans by making the final out of the World Series against the Cubs. But he's been in the World Series.
Yeah.
And not all that many can make that claim. 2-1. Martinez went for a pitch he shouldn't have. And Tunnel has High Point down to a final strike. It's 2-2. One strike left to pick up for Tunnel and the Barnstormers, and they will win their 9th straight here at home. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs, bases clear, and a 2-run lead. Tunnel is ready. It's a breaking ball outside and low, 3-2. And again, you have to go with a pitch that you can throw for a strike here.
That's one that you could see he wanted to make it so good that you just try to throw it so hard.
3 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. The payoff is coming, and it's grounded to first. Cordero will take it himself, and it's 9 in a row at home. 3 unassisted. Martinez grounds out. Thanks to the Robinson homer in the bottom of the 8th, the Barnstormers could withstand the Wheel homer in the top half of the 9th inning. Well, the Barnstormers' roll continues, 8-6, the victory tonight. We'll have more with the High Point Rockers coming up tomorrow, and again, it will be here on Blue Ridge 11 at 6:30. Oscar De La Cruz against Jason Scalaro. So for my partner, Pete Andrelzik, and all the guys on camera and the guys and the gals in the truck, and for all the cast and crew here at Clipper Magazine Stadium, I'm Dave Collins. Have a great evening, everyone, and we'll see you at the ballpark.